somehow wipe them off the map.
Can they get somebody's points in? That's it! That goes in! But look at the Buzzwole going for the Hundo Burger. That goes in.
Espo gets leashed back in with a power whip.
But Nouns is coming in and ripping everyone apart.
Tally Bobo Believers stretch their lead out and they're kind of taking this fight.
Buzzwole takes it. Overlord takes it for Luminosity. The pressure is on.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Pokémon UNITE Championship Series. We are here today for the regional finals for the OC region. I am super duper excited to be here. My name is Kellosaurus and I do know we have some other excited folk here. So let me introduce you to them. We have It's Mifu, Nuggy D and Permasneeze. Fu, how are you feeling today?
Hi Kello, I am so delighted to be here today. OC Regional Finals, it all comes down to this for our OC teams. I've suited up, I've got my Pokemon pin, and I can't wait to cast today's matches.
And I can see somebody else with a pretty interesting pin there. Nuggy D, how are you going?
Well, I haven't slept, Kels. It's been such an exciting period up to this point. Quite historic, really, to have an OC cast team. Very excited. And you did ask about the pin. This is just to keep this power at bay, all right? We just don't want to release it into the tournament. So this little guy is going to stay with me.
Now, Permasneeze, you were lucky enough to cast the OC region's last year's matches. How does it feel to be back once again?
Kilo, lucky is an understatement. I don't remember casting such thrilling matches for a long while and I could not be more excited to be back. If I remember OC for one thing, it's all these crazy upsets, all these crazy dynamic, just this gameplay, we don't see it anywhere else, so getting it on broadcast again is such a treat and I'm excited to watch.
Yes, we are all very excited to watch and bring you these OC matches. But for those of you that might be joining us for the first time ever, let's take a look at how this season has played out.
Hello trainers! Regional Finals and NAIC are around the corner, and the season is coming to a close. Let's see what remains for players and how they can still qualify for the World Championships in Yokohama, Japan, and claim a share of the $500,000 prize pool. As the season is coming to a close, the only chance left for teams to make it to the World Championships is through the Regional Finals or by scrounging up whatever CP remains to earn their invitation to Worlds. It seems all but certain as to who will make it, but nobody can be counted out just yet. Let's take a look at how the Regional Finals will go. The Regional Finals consist of grouped round-robin competition, with the top teams entering a double-elimination bracket. The winning team from each Regional Finals will represent their region at Worlds with a guaranteed slot. There's also a $50,000 prize pool per region at stake. So expect some of the fiercest matches to happen here as it's all on the line. With only the Regional Finals standing in the way of the teams making it to Yokohama, Japan, who will we see advance forward? Watch the Regional Finals and find out which teams are guaranteeing their spot at Worlds as we make it closer to the end of another epic season of Pokémon UNITE.
We can definitely see that trainers from all around the world have had quite the journey this far, but they still have a little bit of that journey ahead of them for this weekend. So I think we have a look at what our schedule and our format is going to be for today.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the broadcast schedule for the 2023 UNITE Championship Series. This weekend, we are bringing you the regional finals for all the regions except North America, who will have their finals live at the end of June. In July, the qualified teams get a much needed break to rest and rejuvenate before they pack their bags in August and head to the World Championships held in Yokohama, Japan. But right now, today, it is all about the OC Regional Finals. Nuggy, could you please walk us through the format of today's event?
Not a problem, Fu. Let's go to the format here, guys. We are going into a 4 single round robin situation here. Now, we are up to the part where we are at an 8-team double elim, and this will lead up to tomorrow's broadcast where we will see the grand finals into a best of 5 series, and the winner of that will go to Yokohama. And that's going to be something that we're going to be very excited to see and look forward to.
Yes, I agree. As we have mentioned, I think multiple times today, we are all very excited to be here. But the fact is, this is the first OC broadcast we've had today. I think we need to know a little bit more about this region. So we do actually have some stats here that has been a shout out to What's Up for putting these together. We can see they are spicy indeed. We have Alolan Ninetales being picked up 66 times with a 53% win rate during the regional qualifiers. Perma, what do you think about that?
I thought OC was known for your hot weather, man, but with the way A9 is being picked up, it's getting mighty chilly down there. Of course, it has worked out, and partly due to the fact, that the Avalanche and the Blizzard combo has been buffed. After those cooldowns got aligned, this Pokemon has just been such a treat to play. We've seen it increase in play across all other regions as well. But some of these other Pokemon, it's interesting that the rest of the most prized picks are the supporter and the defender roles. What do you think about this, Fu?
Yeah, I do want to shout out Hooper over here, although only picked up 40 times, so 3rd on the list, but the win rate is the highest of them all. It just goes to show Hooper, such a good Pokemon to pick up for any team with its ability to use portals and its massive Unite move. What about you, Nuggy? What do you think about this top 5?
Look, I absolutely love for the longest time we were stuck with not a lot of defenders, and with this year they've really brought out all the stops and bringing us more defenders. We don't normally actually get to see this, and even though the win rate is at 45%, Trevenant is a favorite here in the OC region. We do know that Slowbro is strong throughout all regions, so no surprises there that he is up there. But a very interesting one is that we don't see a lot of Snorlax as much anymore, and that's just because of the introduction of these new defenders coming in. So this is a great statistical thing for us to be able to see, and I can't wait to see what the top 8 teams are going to pick.
Well, you know what? My prediction is we are going to be seeing a lot of these Pokemon either being picked up or possibly banned for today. Now, the thing is, these trainers, they have already started battling it out against each other today. They have completed their group stages, and we need to actually have a look at what these standings are currently.
Yep, let's take a quick glance through. Of course, just like Hilo said, these matches have all already been played right before we got on here and got our suits on, got ready for broadcast. So, as we can see, the 4 different groups, the top of the groups, really no surprises there. EXO Clan got a 3-0 in Group A against Team Pack and Black Glasses. iClan at the top, so already the 2 Titans establishing themselves as a cut above the rest against DGen Overtime, Underground Esports, as well as No Panthers. In Group C, we see Ghost Sleep, who are one of the, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, within that placement, they could really, pull off a bunch of upsets here. And of course, another underdog in Group D, 3-0 within that group is Zenith, some of the old school OC members that I remember casting from back in the day. So I think all of this pans out to what we're really expecting. Nuggy, what do you think about this? How these groups have panned out so far?
I think this is going to be an excellent matchup throughout so far. Like, all of these teams who have made it to the final stages deserve to be there, and we just can't wait to see what any of these teams are going to be able to do, because we do love upsets.
We do love upsets indeed. But all in all, there's multiple reasons why these teams are here today. So Fu, can you please tell us what is at stake?
Of course, Kello. Now, firstly, there is a $50,000 prize pool up for grabs for this competition here. First place takes home a whopping $20,000. But that's not all. Nuggy, do you want to tell us about how the points are going to be broken down?
Certainly, Fu. Now, talking about the points, these are very important. First place will win themselves 2,500 points. And you know what? The points are important today because 2 of the teams will qualify for Japan. The team who wins today's events and the team who has the most championship points. So let's now take a look at how many points each of these teams have. Herm?
Yep, quick look at the current CP standings. EXO Clan on the back of their most recent win are going to top that chart, followed by iClan, Legends Reappear, Go Sleep, Zenith, LFT Name, Underground Esports, as well as Black Glasses. So it's really, kind of set in at the top two. But 3, 4, and 5 is where things could get dicey. Let me remind everybody that there are 2 slots coming to Yokohama from OCE. The winner of today's regional finals gets a ticket, and as well as the team after them that has the most CP. So a lot of potential for shakeups here just in today.
Yeah, that's definitely happening. And you know what? We do like hearing about upsets. Any of these teams, we have seen the top 2 powerhouses, but as you said as well, this is going to be something that can happen. So let's see how we go through. What do you think about the upsets? Is it possible?
Yeah, so the 3rd, 4th, and 5th teams are actually very close in points. It just goes to show how competitive the OC region is. We know that EXO and iClan are on top. Kello, are there any chance for any other teams to qualify for Worlds?
Look, the only way for teams under EXO Clan and iClan that are able to qualify for the Worlds is going to be if they actually win today's regional finals. So the fact that, as we mentioned, Legends Reappear, Go Sleep, and Zenith are very, very close in points, there is that potential for the underdogs to steal the show. All right, let's go have a look at where our brackets are. Can you please give us a rundown, Fu?
Yeah, no worries. The last chance qualifier event was held last week, and these OC teams fought hard to give themselves a final shot at getting to Worlds. And let's have a look at today's UNITE Championship bracket for the top 8. We've got EXO against DGen Overtime, Zenith against Go Sleep, iClan against Team Peg, and of course, Hard Hackers against Legends Reappear.
Now, we do have quite the treat for you folks at home today. The next match that we are going to go and spectate is going to be Zenith versus Go Sleep. But that does mean we have to say goodbye to 2 of these casters for now, but not forever. So Nuggy and Perma, we will see you very soon. Fu, let's take it away.
Let's go. So it looks like we're going to be spectating Zenith against Go Sleep. Now, 2 incredible teams. They played very well throughout the season, Kello. And as you can see here, with very, very nice player cards too.
Yes, I completely agree. Now let's go have a look at who is on Zenith currently. We do have Don, Jurek, Chaka, Anonymous, and Sulawu, players that are very well known in the OC region.
Yeah, absolutely. And against them, it's going to be Team Go Sleep, featuring 1-2, Kingor, Smurfette, Dugor, and Manny. Look at that player card of 1-2. It looks amazing.
Yes, Dugor, I see we have a little bit of a theme there. I know we've seen this in the EU region, I believe, with not the updated trader card, but you know what? At least they have that pose there. They are ready to go, just like we are. So let's go have a look. These teams are locked and loaded, ready to go into that draft pick ban phase. Fu, do you have any predictions of who you think might be banned up first?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kello. I think one of the most popular defenders right now, Lapras, as you can see here from Zenith, they're looking to take this off the roster of the whole game today. Lapras, quite a new defender, I would have to say, but it's just showing how strong it is, and I don't think they want to deal with it at all.
No, we looked at those stats and we know that defenders are definitely up there in the meta. So I feel like this Lapras ban is probably going to be really common. And we know the abilities of Hooper to teleport your members home. Look, Zenith Go Sleep do not want to deal with that today.
No, they don't. Hooper is a very scary Pokemon indeed. And you can see Anonymous locking in that Urshifu to begin with. Another very strong pick and a very popular ban as well. But we can see also Dugor, no hesitation at all, with their team Go Sleep, locking in that Slowbro and also their support Eldegoss. Now, both having, Eldegoss having that XP share, possibly. Oh no, they've taken that items off. What do they have up their sleeve here, Kello?
Well, I guess the good thing about this whole pick ban draft phase is you can actually switch the Pokemon later on. So whether Kingor will play it moving forward or whether they end up switching it up later, we will have to wait and see. But look, that Ninetales has made an appearance. We saw that it was at the top picks for the regional open qualifiers. So, you know what? I feel like this is no surprise to us, wouldn't you think, Fu?
Yeah, A9 definitely top of the pick right now. It is winter here in Australia, so definitely in season. Now we've got 1-2 going through with the Dodrio and Manny locking in that Delphox. Two very, very powerful Pokemons as well. It's going to be interesting to see though, Kello, how the Dodrio does against the lockdown potential of, the Alola Ninetales and also the Trevenant being picked up by Don over here.
I must say, an interesting pick is that Venusaur. Now, we do have the Slick Spoon, Wise Glasses, and Energy Amp. Now, if my predictions are correct, this might end up being a Venusaur, wouldn't you think, Fu?
Yes, with that eject button as well to get out of the way. I think I'm a big fan of Venusaur because I am one of the fans of Kanto starters. So I'm very excited to see. It looks like it will be a Venusaur set here. But talking about Solar Beams, Ghost Sleep also has a Pokemon with that moveset. It is going to be 1-2 on the Mew. Now, Mew, one of my favorite versatile Pokemons here, able to switch between moves. The only Pokemon that can really do that. And so I'm interested to see how Ghost Sleep actually uses the potential Mew against Zenith right here. But with 2 seconds to go, final preparation seems to be done. Hello, the first matchup broadcaster today. Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready. The first match for the Pokemon Unite series, the regional finals for the OC region. We do have Zenith versus Go Sleep. So I am really excited to be able to show you what these teams are going to be made of and showcase our amazing region, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the first round of the winners bracket today. Now, Zenith, the name of Zenith means peak, right? They're the most successful. So we're going to see whether they live up to that name today. And as the match begins, we have a Chansey and a Bulbasaur going up into that top path. Now, I love the fact that when supporters use that XP share, it's such a powerful item, Kello, to gain that experience for their partner in that path in order to get them evolved first.
Oh, I completely agree. And you can see that there is an experience share in all of these lanes. We do have Manny on the Slowpoke there, also running it, trying to protect this Mew so it can secure this Bunnelby. But we do have the Branch Poke going on in from Durac there to try to actually steal it away.
Yeah, exciting scenes up top as well. We can see a little Chansey Bulbasaur looking to secure that Bunnelby as well. Now, interesting though, look at that Glossy Fur, Hello. It has the red buff here, which with the experience share, it allows them to not only give that experience back to the central laner of their team, but also having that debuff, which means it slows the opponents down when it uses its auto attack.
Look, you've just got to allow that Speedy Bird to catch on up and possibly get some picks here as they spin around waiting for these Swabbles in Ulterior to go. We do have a wicked blow coming out from Anonymous to just lock most of those birds down.
Yeah, there is so much pressure put on by Zenith in the top path over here. Look at that. Anon with the wicked blow manages to get out there. Did not get knocked out, which is very, very strong for them right now. And Doduo still looking to evolve in that Dodrio. And Anon going back in, looking to starve the opponents of any XP here. And look at this, talking about taking other people's wild Pokemon. We have the Slowbro, Manny, in the central area of the opposition team here, trying to disrupt play, trying to delay the evolution of Team Zenith.
Look, early aggression must be key here for Go Sleep. This is the plays they are going for. And you know what? With the tank that Slowbro is, it's able to get the steal and still be here in time before these Swabbles in Ulterior. But we do have an extra head on that bird there, so it is able to use that Drill Peck. And back on out, is Blissey going to make it on out with those soft wheels? No, it ends up getting taken down by the Mystical Fire of the Delphox.
Uh-oh, I think Anon might be in a bit of trouble here. There is 3 teammates on Ghost Sleep looking to push this goal zone in the top part here, but it looks like Anon is just showing up. He's saying, this is my goal zone. You guys can't come in here at all.
Wouldn't you say Urshifu packs quite the punch? The ability to just take on 1v3 is insane. You do not want to come up against that Kung Fu Bear. Once again, charging on up, being able to secure that big bird there, the Altaria for its experience. Looking at the levels though, we have no Unite moves on hand just yet.
No Unite moves indeed, but I like how Ghost League is playing so aggressive at the start, because this, if it works, it does definitely put Zenith on the back foot here. Now, the Regice is going to be the bottom Reggie for this first spawn here, and you can see 4 teammates of Zenith are already going to be coming down. Looks like the Blissey and the Trevenant's making space. Big beam coming out from Mew here. Fanciful Fireworks comes out. Oh my god, Delphox in so little HP will get taken down by the Solar Beam of Ivysaur. That's going to be a massive pick for Zenith indeed. However, they did trade because Trevenant was also knocked out.
Ooh, but while Trevenant was knocked out, we do have a Venusaur that has come online. It does have that Verdant Anger on hand. Now, they do have the space here to secure this Regice, and it ends up being the beam of the Mew to steal it away.
Yeah, that's incredible scenes. 1-2 is really saying, you've got Solar Beam, I also do, but my beam is definitely better. But here comes Zenith though, all 5 members at the bottom goal here, looking to push through. A huge 40 score by Anon will be able to break that goal zone at the bottom, and he wants more. Meanwhile, the 3-headed bird Dodro looking to try to get out of this tight situation here. But the Trevenant looking to push it there, but no, Dodro gets out very safely. However, Kello, look at that. Anon is now back in the central area of Ghost Sleep.
Yeah, and look, you take what's mine, I'm going to try and take what's yours, right? It's just these trade-offs that these team members are doing against each other. We know that these two are powerhouses and they're putting on quite the show, but we do have a Reggie Alecki that is waiting to be secured. Whether any of these teams are going to prioritize it or whether they're just going to look for more engages instead.
Yeah, it seems like no love for the Regieleki as of now. Both teams are looking to maybe just poke at each other, seeing where each other stays, perhaps waiting to use that Delphox Unite move we've seen that's been so strong in all of the games in this season here. Now look at that. Mood boosted on the Anon. It chunks so much of their HP. Holy moly.
Yeah, you were just talking about that Delphox Unite. They have just let those Fanciful Fireworks burn, along with the Slow Beam from the Slowbro. Manages to catch out the Venusaur. Almost made it on out, but luckily those teammates were there for some backup. Reggie Alecki is now being poked at. We do have Anonymous just trying to whip away this Dodrio from getting any quick dunks in. Jorgor going in with those Mystical Fires and able to finish it off finally with that flame charge, break this goal, and now this provides Ghost Sleep the perfect opportunity and the space to secure the Reggie Alecki if they wish, especially because it will go towards that tier 2 pad. But Fu, we have another objective that has just spawned at the bottom there.
Yeah, definitely. The second baseman Reggie will have spawned already. Look at this Dodro going in. It seems like both teams are more interested in fighting each other than doing any of the objectives. Meanwhile, I think secretly, Anon is looking to do this Reggie Rock at the bottom. Oh my god, what a Phantom Forest coming in from the Trevenant and the Solar Beam in tandem. We'll be able to take off that Dodro as well. Now, this is definitely looking to be more in the favor of Zenith here, because that Trevenant and Blissey so good at making space for their team. It really leaves no chance for Ghost Sleep to go and contest that bottom Reggie Rock.
I think these teams are absolutely neck and neck right now. Looking at the levels, we can see that Ghost Sleep is a little bit behind in points there and levels, but look at this, a sneaky Durac going in and getting a 39 back cap. All the meantime, once again, Reggie Alecki has still not been secured.
Yeah, this is all about the bottom Reggie Rock in this game right now. Oh my god, look at that Smurfer just getting out with 1 HP. Fanciful Firework comes out just to prevent any pressure coming in from that Urshifu. Meanwhile, speaking of Reggie Alecki, we've got Team Ghost Sleep looking to quickly secure this in order to put that pressure, as you said, up in that top path here. But maybe Alona Ninetales says it might be mine, looking to go in perhaps to secure this. It's so low right now, but Mew, so reliable with the Electro Ball and the boosted attack, will be able to take that out, as well as taking out the Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, and you can see, we were talking about this earlier, the utility that Mew has, the ability to switch on moves, whether it be the Solar Beam secures or whether it be the Electro Ball. This is the type of Pokemon you want to have on your side. But another Pokemon is that Trevenant. They are trying to put up the defenses here, not trying to let that Delphox pass on through into that tier 1 pad. You know what? Knowing Ghost Sleep, they only have 15 seconds left, so they are deciding to retreat and possibly look for some optimal positioning for this next big fight in the final stretch.
Yeah, optimal positioning is very important here. Look at this Urshifu maybe trying to knock out the Slowbro early on, but like you said, with the final stretch coming into play here, it is very important for the first Rayquaza fight of today's broadcast. Let's see which team comes out on top here. We can see Eldegoss using its Pollen Puff just to get some vision on that Urshifu. Urshifu is very strong with the Unite moves. They need to protect the Delphox here as goes Sleep. Look at that big Missile Fire coming through, trying to take down that Trevelyan. Solar Beam comes through from the Venusaur. Phantom Fireworks, you're going to make so much space for them, and they're going to be looking to push this bottom pad.
Yeah, but you can see this is the benefit that Zenith have. They had that bottom pad. They're able to get a little bit of shielding plus a little bit of healing as they go in for the re-engage. We do have a Slow Beam being caught out by the Ninetales. Is it going to manage to get Take-On down? Snow Globe just to try and get some damage out. There's just hits going here left, right, and center. Ninetales and Eldegoss do end up going down. 2 members on each side. Well, now 3 on the side of Ghost Sleep have been taken down, and this possibly gives Zenith the opening they needed to take this Rayquaza. But one thing they are definitely going to have to watch out for is that Mew.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say, Venusaur did so well in that fight just to be in the backline shooting all those 5 solar beams. And look at this. Mew is looking to do the same as well. I think Zenith might have missed that opportunity to take that Rayquaza down. But like you said, Mew is very, very scary when it comes to securing objectives. They definitely want to pick them off first, especially 1-2 on that Mew before they look to do this Rayquaza. And here comes Anon looking to do a score up at top, but Dojo is way too fast. It's 3 heads, no the play of Anon, and we'll be able to stop that score, which means it's still actually the onus is still on Ghost Sleep to make a play here to get this game in their hands. Big serve coming out from Mew. They're looking to get this Hundo Burger in at the bottom here. But no, Anon is so quick to stop any chances of a counter score. With 3 seconds to go, what has happened? I did not see the score at the end. I don't think they scored up top, did they, Kello?
Look, defense, I think, was the name of the game that Zenith were playing there, but were their defenses enough as Dodria did manage to get in some dunks? Yes, it was Zenith are victorious with 238 points to 170. Unfortunately, I don't think that Dodrio, even with that speedy scoring, had enough points on hand.
Yeah, it was actually ridiculous. The first match of today's broadcast, no one actually wanted to do Rayquaza. It was so competitive. They were all about the fighting with each other, the engagement, you know, the back and forth. And you can see from the score graph here, it seemed like Zenith had that commanding lead throughout the game. There were some instances where we thought maybe Ghost Sleep was managed to claw it back with, you know, that Reggie secure, that Regieleki, but it just goes to show a team that works together and is so good at defending, like you said, are going to be able to take that W.
Well, look, there's no I in team after all. So, as you said, it's all about working together. And I know that Zenith, they worked together to deny those early dunks, especially for those Pokemon that did have those stacking items. But looking at the stats here, 98,000 damage on Dugor on the Delphox. That is pretty impressive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Talking about another Pokemon that did a lot of damage from the backline is Suluwu, with that 72,000, all coming in from those solar beams. I don't know whether you saw in that ending fight, Kello, but they were so healthy in the backline, no one actually looked to take down Suluwu there. They just fired beam after beam.
Well, that's the thing. You want to be in the backline, especially with a move like that. But, I mean, I must say, beam after beam coming out from that Venusaur, you know who else was throwing out those beams? That Mew.
Absolutely, I love seeing a Mew in play, but it is only the first game of the day, Kello. It is a best of 3 at the end of the day, and I think right now both teams are going back in, maybe getting a team huddle going on. They're thinking, how can I turn this around?
Yes, they're definitely going to have to buckle down and think how to turn it around for this next match. But I reckon we go and take a look at a few highlights from this match.
Oh, I am so excited. Having a look at the highlights here, you can see in that top half, no one was actually looking to do that Regieleki. Meanwhile, there was just so much pressure coming through from both the Dodrio and also the Delphox up top. But Anon is so good at defending there, as you said here. And look at this Rayquaza fight. The Slowbro with a huge surf on that team, looking for that engagement. And Suluwu at the back, just beaming one by one. Oh, what a massive wicked blow coming in from Anon as well. And towards the end, you can see Urshifu, one of its abilities is to deal true damage and defend against any scoring over here. That really just won them the game.
I must say it was a very valiant effort though from Ghost Sleep. I guess the timing for the fanciful fireworks to just try and deplete that healing and everything like that. Unfortunately, it just was no match for that Urshifu, especially the Wicked Blow. Like the amount of damage that comes out from one punch is insane. So I think this goes into what do we predict might end up happening in this pick a ban phase? We know that Lapras and Hooper were banned last match. Are they going to stick with those same bans, or do we have the potential for an Urshifu ban here, Fu?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great call. But if they do go and ban that Urshifu, we might be able to see possibly either a Hooper or one of the other Pokemons. Now, we know that Anon plays a bunch of Pokemon very, very well. It's not just Urshifu, so they have to be ready, if I was to go sleep, to put up with maybe the Anonymous, Lucario, or Zoroark, one of my favorite Pokemons. What do you think is going through Ghost Sleep's head right now?
I think in terms of, look, honestly, I have no idea what these teams are thinking of. I would honestly hate to be in their position right now. We get the easy job here. We just get to spectate them. In the end, it's all of these minuscule decisions that make such a big difference. It's getting that right team composition. But even if you do have that right team composition, it all comes down to that synergy when you're actually in match. We know these matches, they're 10 minutes long, right? There's not much that actually happens, not much time there, but so much actually happens. And it's all about those decisions in a game. So yeah,
decision making, definitely a very important bit. Now, Ghost Sleep, the name Ghost Sleep, it seems like it's paying tribute to Pokemons that perhaps put their opponents to sleep. Will we see something like a Gengar or a Wigglytuff Sing, do you think? Because we didn't see that in the first game.
Well, fun fact actually, 1-2, I must say, is a pretty mean Gengar player. And hey, look, tribute to 1-2 here. I do have a Gengar pin here. So I'm hoping maybe we might end up seeing a 1-2 Gengar. But you know what? The fact is, there is so many Pokemon on the roster at the moment. So many strong Pokemon. Whether we will end up seeing that purple speed or not show up, maybe a Yawn Snorlax, that might be interesting.
Ooh, I totally forgot about Yawn Snorlax. And it just goes to show there are so many Pokemon with so many interesting movesets. Let's find out what happens when they go into match 2 very, very soon.
Yes, as we are buckling on down and waiting for these teams to get ready, I guess, do you have any Pokemon that you would actually like to see being picked up today, Fu?
You know I'm a big fan of Zoroark, but maybe they could even, have another trick up their sleeve. Maybe we get to see the renowned Lucario coming out of Anonymous. Or what about Machamp?
Ooh, so you want to see some all-rounder action happening there. I know there's a fair few people that do play Machamp in the OC region, but look, the teams are ready, so I reckon we throw it to that pick ban phase, and let's see if these predictions do come to light.
Yeah, absolutely here. We've got the second game well underway in the ban phase here. Now, I don't see a Lapras being picked up at all by either teams for the bans here. Still looking like a Hooper ban is possible here, Kello. But look at that. It seems like Zenith have looked to perhaps ban Urshifu. They're saying, if I'm not picking first here, I don't want the other team to have that Urshifu. What do you think?
No, it makes sense. I guess because they don't get to lock it down first, they won't be able to lock it in for Anonymous if they do want to play it, and that potential to steal. But the thing is, this does free up the potential for Lapras to be picked on up. So whether any of these teams... Oh, there we go, Fu. What? We were just talking about that. Insta-lock!
You definitely know what's going on in the competitive scene, Kello. What a great call out there. Yes, Stilgore will be able to pick up that Lapras for that team, but it does open up the potential for a Slowbro on the team of Zenith here. Slowbro, a Pokemon we know that's very strong especially with its slow beam, able to disable any Pokemon. And look at that! I think my prayers may have just come true, Kello.
Yes.
We have the Zora coming out from Zenith as well.
Your wish is Anonymous's command. They are delivering. But another Pokemon that does bring the wishes is Kingor on the Clefable. So we know that with its Unite move, ability to randomize, I think it's 6 different moves. We'll have to say, see and wait whether their luck comes to fruition for this game.
Yeah, it's really like a gacha machine, I think. Whenever Clefable's on the field, you never know what move you're going to get, and sometimes it does work in their favor. Now, talking about other support Pokemon as well, that's Don on the Eldegoss and Shaker on that Mew now. So, maybe we won't see a Venusaur. That's my question here.
I think it's really interesting what Zenith's game is here. We obviously know that Go Sleep, they did have the Eldegoss and the Mew pick. 1-2 playing the Mew and Kingor playing the Eldegoss last round. So I think for Shaker and Don to steal this away from them is actually huge.
Yeah, that is a great call out. You always want to make your opponents as uncomfortable as possible in their picks here. But I'm sure with these new picks coming out from Go Sleep, they will put up a fantastic fight. Now, Chandelure, gaining popularity, I would have to say, in the competitive scene. So much burst damage coming out from it, but it may not have been the first pick, seeing that Gardevoir was taken in there. Smurfette, though, on that Buzzwole. Buzzwole, just like the Machamp counterpart, very, very strong, able to disrupt and grab the opponents out of the air and slam them down. I'm very excited to see whether we can get some Buzzwole gaming in this game.
Yes, I must say, Go Sleep, the suppression tools that they have on hand for their team, as you mentioned, the Buzzwole, the ability to pick up, throw them down, but also the suppression tools that Ninetales and also the Lapras provides if it does opt for that Bubble Beam moveset.
Yeah, Bubble Beam, a really good move to stun lock. It is really, really annoying, I think, if you were any Pokemon looking to jump in the back line of the team, because as soon as the bubble touches you, hello, you're going to be stuck for a little bit. It's going to be very tough to see how they come up against that. But second game going to be underway now. I'm excited to see. Hopefully, maybe we'll see a really competitive game and bring about a Game 3 scenario here. And look at this. We've got Buzzwole heading up top. Looks like Lapras and the Litwick is going to be doing the central area together here, just in case someone has an invasion idea on the opposite team. Let's see what happens here. They do have the XP share though, so it's okay to get that red buff.
Yes, I think that was a very interesting move there to give the Lapras there that red buff. It wants the ability to just slow down the opposition there, as you would with that Gossifleur. So whether they're going to be able to get some stacks, I do believe Smurf was running that attack weight. So wants to get in those little dunks as early as possible before they have too much Eos energy on hand.
Yes, of course, and another person looking for stacks as well is going to be Anonymous up top, but it's going to be a tough ask against a Lapras and a Buzzwole. Meanwhile, at the bottom, two very, very early game oppressive Pokemon is the Slowbro and the Mew. And look at that, it seems like the Curlier will be heading up top here to look to maybe put some pressure on the top lane. The Altaris will be able to spawn here. Look at that, it just all gets soaked up by Zenith over here. They're going to be able to evolve to Eldegoss as well. Anon might be a little bit of trouble here. Look at that. The entire 3 members of Go Sleep in the top half is looking to take down Anon. And look at that. Lampert, so good with his burst. We'll be able to take it out. But it gets countered by the Curlier as well. So it's a very nice trade, I think, for both teams up in the top half here.
An eye for an eye, as they would say. You take one of ours, we'll take one of yours. But I think Go Sleep did end up... Go Sleep did end up coming out on top by getting 2 of their members.
Yeah, definitely a very good start for them as well. Meanwhile, with the look at the central area of Go Sleep here. It's gonna be Durac looking to potentially put even more pressure on the poor Lampert here. Maybe get Mr. on the blue buff and get out of there. Here comes Clefable though, looking to stop Durac from doing that. And you can see teams are getting a little bit caught up here. Slowbro still looking to serve the Lampert. Big hit on the Lampert. Still so he can get out, and that could be a hit number 2. That's going to be a KO shoot of 2 for Durac. It might be a defender KO, but it is doing so much work in knocking out the opposing Pokemon.
Oh, it is definitely doing so much work, and you can see why this Pokemon is picked up time and time again. I must say the fact that Jurak is following patterns here to go and with an invade, they did exactly the same thing in the first match too.
Yeah, that's a really good call out, and it seems like Ghostly did not manage to realize that was going to happen again. And look at this, a huge attack by Ghostly here. We're going to be soaking up most of the Alcaraz in the bottom. I think what Ghostly needs to focus on is to get some of their Pokemon's quick Unite moves online as quick as possible, because we do have Gardevoir and Zora able to get the Unite moves very, very soon. We're just awaiting the Chandelure and possibly the Clefable to get that Wonder Wish.
Look, you're talking about Unite moves. We do have the Zoroark just popping that out, trying to defend themselves against that Buzzwole. But Registeel has spawned in that bottom half. We do have that Light Screen and that Solar Beam combo coming out from you to try and get as much burst damage on the opposite team as possible.
And here we go though, Gardevoir able to use that Fairy Singularity. Unluckily, did not manage to pick up anybody there, but perhaps it makes some space. Lapras, so tanky in the backline of the Zenith over here, will be able to still stay on in the playing field. No, gets taken out by Psyshock. Registeel is quite low here, but both teams are looking to maybe knock out the opponents before starting this Registeel, as he's going to be leashed. Chandelure still in the backline, but Fable trying to make some space. Look at the amount of burst coming in from the Mew. Will be able to take down Fable with the help of the Gardevoir here. And oh my god, Chandelure just so close there with that secure at the end. I think that could have gone either way, Colo.
It really could have gone either way. The fact that there were KOs going left, right, and center there. But I think one thing we do have to make note of is that Zoroark soloing that Regieleki and securing it and marching its way down to that tier 2 pad, occupying this Lapras, who is on Regieleki duty.
Yeah, Lapras definitely in the Regieleki jail time right now, and it looks like, yeah, Anonymous is just on the team of Zenith, looking just to not only break the road on early, but also use that time to get as much more Pokemon possible to get that level lead. And speaking of levels, we do have 2 level 11s on the side of Zenith, where there's only a level 10. But the game is still just starting. We have that potential for the team to make a comeback here from Ghost Sleep here. They just need to group together maybe and win one of the team fights here.
Yes, team fights indeed is something they are possibly going to have to look at winning, or possibly getting in some backcaps, because it is currently 0.2100, so that does mean if any of the Go Sleep members are using any stacking items, they do not have any stacks at all.
Wow, that is a really good observation there, Kello. You're right, and Buzzwole probably having that attack weight stack, it is really starved of any of the scores right now. But there is a Lapras there on Go Sleep though. We've seen Lapras Express take Pokemons across the map to go score. Will we see it today in this match?
I don't know. I mean, not only is it the potential to kite around your members, but also the stun of the surf that it provides at the end. You can see these two teams, they're just circling around each other, trying to find the perfect opportunity. Yes, these matches are short, but as we said, timing has to be precise. It has to be meticulous. We do have that Cotton Cloud Crash coming in from the Eldegoss to initiate all of these Unite moves, just following on up.
Yeah, just in tandem together, working so well as a team, and that's going to push the Buzzwole off that bottom half goal zone, which means perhaps we'll get a massive 42, if my maths are correct, over dunk at the bottom there for Team Zenith, and it just creates so much space for them to be able to do this Regirock in time. Perhaps, yes, they will be able to. Lapras Express not able to secure that at all. Manny just looking to back away now. Meanwhile, as you said before, Anonymous seems to just be doing that top Regieleki by themselves. Big Nightfall Days Unite comes out. We'll be able to pick up the Ninetales and also the Clefable as well. And they're just going, I've done my job. It's time to leave. I am about to hit level 13.
Can we just say that Anonymous, instead of actually sitting with the teams and fighting with them, I feel like they've been doing a lot on their own, staying in that top path, securing those Regielekis, just keeping the pressure on. You know, you've got to split up and conquer and divide, right? So the fact that Zenith, this is the plays they're going for, is really interesting. You want to prevent those backcaps and make sure that you do have eyes on all of the map.
I was just going to say here as well, I saw the two Lapises on the minimap. I was a bit confused at once, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is the illusion ability of Zorak, able to turn into either wild Pokemon or, like, I guess, illusion of the enemy team. Maybe we can see some, possibility to sneak around the side and pretend to be one of the members of Ghost Sleep. We'll have to wait to find out here. But it looks like Anonymous looking into Dunk. This is a scoring Zorak we see in this game here as the final stretch is about to begin in about 15 seconds.
Well, not only is it the Trickster there with the illusion, but the Trickster to go in and get some backups. We have some early Unite moves here. The Fairy Singularity along with the Mystical Mirage. They are trying to get these KOs down early. That way they can secure possibly this team fight before Rayquaza spawns. Here we go. We do have 3 members of Ghost Sleep that are down. They are in a very, very dangerous position here as we do have Zenith looking to take this opportunity and shred down this Rayquaza if they can. We do have Manny trying to be there in the line, but no, it ends up going to Zenith and Fu. Does this mean we might see a game where a team will not score any points at all?
Yeah, that is going to be a very tough ask, I think, for Team Ghost Sleep to score any points right now because they're constantly getting bullied down in the bottom path as well. That was a very early fight, as you said, there for that Rayquaza, Kello. So definitely, Zenith took that opportunity, saw that 3 members of the team is down. Look at the Lapras trying to start a dance party at the bottom. But I think you're right, Kello. Unfortunately, this is going to be a donut game for Ghost Sleep here. Zenith is going to be able to have 764 points in to 0 of Ghost Sleep.
Yes, and we can see that they are just trying to pad those stats up in the last minute. So a few more Unite moves that are popping on out. We do not see Zenith backing on down. But you know what? 3 members are down. We think that Elpagos and Mew, they might have to retreat on here and possibly defend that bottom tier 1 pad if they do want to keep it at 0 points.
Yeah, for sure. Look at that. Mew getting knocked out as well. It's going to be Don on the poor Eldegoss trying to stop anything. But maybe it's okay to give it, Kello. In the light of sportsmanship, it's okay to get some scores in because they know there is a huge mountain to climb for Ghost Sleep if they want to come back to this game.
No, definitely. In the grand scheme of things, there's only 5 Pokemon on a team. Maximum points they can hold is that 50, and with that double, will be 100. So if we do our quick math, that's 500 points. And the fact that Zenith had 700, I don't think there's going to be any way to catch up at all. But look at that, Fu. That is round 2 done and dusted. Zenith taking the win once again and securing themselves a spot in that winner's top section.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to both teams to put up a very competitive fight here. But in this game, as you can see here, so good by Anonymous. Up in that top lane. Not really in the team fight, but when it mattered the most, they were able to do so well. Same with Suluwu as well, with that Fairy Singularity Unite move at the start. But let's not forget though, I think Ghost Sleep had the potential to come back in a lot of those moments, but Zenith just very, very strong in those selected moments there. Let's have a look at possibly the score graph as well. You can see, even though Zenith had that ability to have that level and score gap in between the entire game, we do have that Registeel being taken by Ghost Sleep, so that was their chance to come back. However, the defense of Zenith, it was just too strong that match.
No, I definitely agree. In terms of the defense that Zenith showed, we could see that they split up their resources to make sure that they had Pokemon in each of those lanes to keep eyes on their surroundings. You can see just the amount of points that were dunked in that final stretch to just broaden that gap even further. I must say, Zenith, they definitely put on quite a show and a very, very dominant performance thus far.
Yeah, definitely sending a message to the other teams as well. Zenith is here to look to win that regionals because whichever team wins regionals, Kello, what do they get?
A ticket to Yokohama. That's
a ticket to Yokohama.
That's what we are all eyeing for, right? That eye on the prize. Zenith do have that indeed, and they want to live up to their name, as you did mention. Zenith means to reach that peak. So, will they be able to continue on through and possibly reach that peak?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to give a shout out as well to Diogo on that chandelier. Look at that, 84,000 damage, but most importantly, doing more than 40% of their team's damage here. Just a big shout out to the burst damage of Chandelure as well.
Look, another Pokemon that provided a lot of burst damage there was Sulawu on the Gardevoir. 98k damage output. That is insane. But you know what? That wouldn't be possible if they didn't have their trusty supporter by their side. Don on the Eldegoss with that 59k recovering. I think the pollen puffs there to just help their team survive those team fights even longer. I mean, in the end, it's not just one person in the team. There is no Iron team. It's all of them together as a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it just goes to show as well, you know, if you have good team synergy, that's the most important thing. And that's going to give them any wins if they stick together.
Exactly. Stick together, as they say. What's that song? I can't remember. Stick together. Stay
It'll come
forever.
to us. Friends forever.
All right, as the people do have a little dance-off in their games, we have a little dance-off in here too. But as we do get these highlights ready for you, we'll see how this match has panned out.
All right, highlights, definitely my favorite bit of each game here. We can see Anonymous, look at that, just doing that Regieleki and putting so much pressure up in the top lane, pulling 3 people of Ghost Leaf away from the other team fights in order to stop that Regieleki from going in. This is the fight you talked about just before Rayquaza, Kello. Absolute scenes here with everyone just using their Unite moves.
No, and I think that's the thing, to be able to take them down, especially with those cooldowns, you just have the time and the space to secure that Rayquaza. I know it was a great effort there from the Lapras, just sitting there in the Rayquaza hoping to get the last hit, but unfortunately those water pulses just weren't enough.
Yeah, it was a tough ask definitely for Manny on that Lapras here. Look at that, trying to start a dance party. I love that. You know, sometimes dance party makes everything feel better.
Yes, dance parties are very fun indeed, but maybe we might end up seeing some more dance parties. But instead, before that, let's go take a look at the updated bracket so far and where the teams are sitting at.
Ooh, very exciting. I'm about to see... Ooh. Hold on. We're just going to, wait for the brackets to come up here. Now, let's talk about maybe our predictions, Kello. Do you think that there will be any upsets? We're all standing in hype waiting for it.
Look, we have kind of said that Zenith there, they are the dark horse, the underdogs. And I think the performance they have shown today, there is that potential for an upset. We know that Iclan and Exo, they are at the top there. So they are definitely going to have to be the 2 titans that they have to try and defeat. Whether they're going to be able to keep up their momentum in that winners bracket up there, or whether they'll end up getting sent down to the losers, we'll have to wait and see. But we do have the brackets already, so let's flick them up, see where these teams are sitting at.
Let's go. So you can see from what we just spectated, so Zenith will be progressing into the next round here. But EXO against DGen over time, it seems like Iclan, so it seems like, let me just have a look here. Seems like, their game has not yet finished here, but Legends Reappear have taken that 2-0 against Hard Hackers, which means they'll be up in the next round of the winners bracket.
Yes, and next up we do have Iclan versus Legends, but that does mean we're going to have to say goodbye. We are going to have to see that match, see what Legends Reappear have in store for us. Do you have any thoughts on these 2 players or these 2 teams, Fu?
Yeah, Iclan definitely a very strong team indeed. I'm just wondering, you know, whether they've made any changes leading up to it, because the good thing about OC, I think, region, is that we're actually friends with a lot of the people in the teams here. So, you know, over time, having conversation, we kind of know how the team plays and how strong they are. But anything can happen today, Hello. And I wonder what people at home are thinking right now, whether they're so excited to see these matchups.
Yes, but you know what? Buckle on down. We are going to take a short break before we bring you these next matches, and Nuggy and Perma back. Maybe have a drink, because I feel like it's going to get spicy in here, wouldn't you say, Fu? But
Absolutely.
Let's take it to a break.
All right,
Welcome back, ladies and gents. If you've forgotten who we are, my name is Nuggy D, just a regular guy. But the guy next to me, he is not regular. He is absolutely amazing. Perma Sneeze.
Yeah, it's excellent to be back here. No, I mean, being a regular guy ain't so bad. I mean, you're definitely a regular around these parts in the OC region, which is the wonderful broadcast we have for you guys today. So we just had Kilo and Fu bring us through an absolute thriller of a match here to start us off. Of course, none other than the old school. So the old school players of OC on Team Zenith taking it over their opponents here in such a dominant fashion. But coming up right now, we have two even more exciting teams ready for you here.
Yeah, crazy team. It's going to be iClan versus Legends Reappear. Now, for those of you that don't know, iClan is a veteran in the scene. They've been selected. They won last year's regionals to be able to go to represent in London in 2022. And you know what, Perm? You know, I do know that you have a bit of history with these guys, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tidbit about, you know, let me know what have iClan been up to in their stats.
Yeah, 3 words. Untamed the G. That guy has just been such a solid force driving his team forward. An interesting thing here is that I know the iClan from back when they qualified for Worlds last year. This iClan, there's a bit of a shift here. We're not seeing Pingu on the starting lineup anymore. It's actually going to be Joe. So not only is he a new addition from, GZ switching over to iClan side, he's also going to be the only Australian in the team. So pretty cool stuff to see this little merging of some titans here.
Yeah, that's what they were. Maybe that's what they were missing. You know, the actual merging of OC. But look, we have new players in the house. This is Legends Reappear. They have fantastic training cards now. This is really cool to see because they did not get to play as much last year. They just entered this year. They have really been consistent, bringing themselves into the top 4 to top 8 every single month, and they deserve to be here to fight for a spot to go to Yokohama.
It's so like harrowing, right? When you go against a team called Legends Reappear and you've never seen them before, you're just stuck to yourself. You're thinking like, where did these guys come out before? Like, are they new? Like, there's so much anticipation to what they can bring, and like you said, they've done very well to get themselves in consistent placements throughout the board, and they've definitely deserved to be here. We saw as well during the CP standings that they're one of the teams vying for a huge potential upset, and we're just gonna get right into the game here to see what they can bring to the table.
Yes, let's have a look at what's happening here. And might I add, this is a great little refreshment to see what Pokemon will be banned in the upcoming phases. We do see a little bit of a mix match here from iClan. Maybe they're still discussing it. Does look like it's veering towards Delphox, but look, LDR does not want a piece of the Lapras. We talked about these new defenders coming into the meta, and this shows Lapras very popular, but don't want to go against it.
Yeah, I think earlier on we saw Manny playing it as well, doing very, very well on it. It's just a defender that can bring out so much damage in the early stages, akin to a Snorlax, but a lot more sort of self-sustainable. Now, the Delphox being banned out is interesting because the one thing I know about Legends Reappear is Xavi is an absolute beast on that Pokemon.
Yeah, this is probably why they wanted to ban the Delphox. We've seen Xavi just really in the OC scene dominate a lot, so this is a very smart move to be able to not let Xavi take control of that Pokemon. And you know what? It's great to see Frith picking up the Slowbro straight away. We've seen multiple times again, and even looking at the stats, shout out to Wazap for the top 5 Pokemon picks. They're all kind of here. You've got just bar the Trevenant. I'm not sure if we are going to see a Trev, but you can see the Hooper, the Ninetales, the Bro. They were in the top 5.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a cage match with these two muscle bros between Shep on the Urshifu as well as the Buzzwole being picked up. Now, an interesting selection is gonna be the Scissor. Now, it could be a Scyther, we don't know just yet. Untamed gonna round it off with a Mew. We already saw what immense work that Pokemon can do from afar. I believe it was Shaker just now who showed us exactly how that can shake down. But how did you say it was again? I don't want to mispronounce his name. Xavi? Xavi.
Yes, I think we've said Xavi a lot. I could be wrong, but maybe you were right the whole time. But look, again, out of the top 5 Pokemon picks for the OC region, 4 of them are up there. But like you said, the most interesting pick that we haven't yet seen so far is Joe on the Scyther or Scizor. And that's the beauty part. We're just not sure what evolutionary state he's going to choose.
Yeah, I think for the longest time, as soon as you saw the Scizor being picked, you'd auto-default. You'd be like, yeah, this is a Scyther. Scizor not widely thought of as the strongest in the competitive scene. But with the recent sort of adjustments to this Pokemon, the Bullet Punch getting a nice little sort of touch-up, it's you know, maybe this is the time we get it revealed, and what a better place to sort of see it debut than in OC itself. Now, one thing I do want to point out is, Nagi, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm getting some chills, okay? I'm getting some chills. This is bringing me back a year back. It's gonna be Frith back on Frith, like the support combo Frith and Puffs, right? These guys were such monsters, keeping the team grounded while Untamed, Shep, they would Pingu, they would pop off. So seeing those two back on these old school, like, you know, still solid and stable support tank, you know, combination, it's really like it's getting me in the mood, man. It's getting me in the mood.
No, it's good. I've loved the fact that you can see the Season 3 stickers as well. It just shows how long they've been playing this game. You know, it just shows that they love this game and they're back to win it. And yeah, like you said, you know, supports and defenders are the backbone of the entire team. If they fall, so do the attackers. So it's really great to see them go back to their roots. But saying that though, LDR, a brand new team for this year, has been going splendidly well. And a little fun fact is that I believe half of them actually don't use voice comms, which is insane. They have to rely on each other for trust just to know when they're doing their moves. But,
just pure telepathy, just pure, like, literally, it's like me and you don't even say anything, we're just like mentally casting the game, right? And everyone just gets that psychic transmission. It's definitely something very impressive. You said they were across a few different language barriers too?
Yeah, I believe DC, as you can see as the Vulpix, is he said he was like the translator for some of them, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I'm very interested to see what LDR has done, because even with those language barriers, it's just, you know, they've been doing so well every single cup.
This guy, you know, he came back, Pokemon Unite, too easy for him in his past life. You know, he reappeared as a legend. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna double it up. Translator while trying to win the OC regionals. It ain't a thing. And you know, they're in such a good position. Like we said, you know, they have been routinely finding these very stable finishes, right? Top 4 is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you're talking about such a volatile, you know, you have these titans at the top in OC consistently.
Yeah, it's very, very good to see. And we do love to see that Kubfu is now Urshifu. They are going to do a 3-on-3 engage in the top path. We do see that most of the Swabblers Alterias get taken by the iClan, but we do lose the Scyther down there, and they also lost the Alteria. So this is an advantage to LDR.
Yeah, Chi looking fergalicious, the way he's been working on his fitness, the muscle coming through and just laying it onto Untamed the G. Now, it's going to be a single strike Urshifu, so he can definitely deal those blows back the other way, as we see here. Huge wake-up punch, unfortunately, goes wide, could have taken the KO onto Icy, but now he's feeling the brunt of the damage in this absolute brawl in the top side. This Buzzwole's coming out on top.
Yeah, look, the second time we've seen Buzzwole just purely dominating that top path. Chi-Chi doing very well there. And while we're watching there, we can just see that Joe has opted for the Sizzle form. So this is going to be a front liner if iClan ever needs one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure every single one of these teams has cooked up a little bit of their own strategies, you know, prior to coming into regionals here. Some secret sauces that they've kept in the tray. They don't want to show anyone just yet. Don't want to, you know, show that bit of flavor. But Joe, yeah, with this bullet punch, it's not something we really see very often, but it's not something we're gonna see very often with the way this Buzzwole is just beating him to the ground.
No, Buzzwole has so many suppressing abilities, as you can see there, just knocking them up and down. And this is going to be very hard for Sis to go through. We do see, Untamed narrowly being able to get out there and getting a reward for taking out that Buzzwole, but bottom lane is now being pushed by LDR. Bro, though, a very, very good defender, so he won't be giving them any chance to score without a fight.
Yeah, no quarter there given from Frith, one of the most stable tank players in the entire region, I dare say, has been busting it on his slow bro since the very beginning. And yeah, I mean, he's a very reliable sort of force down here to be reckoned with. Now, they are bringing in TT though, so a bit of a, maybe it's time to, you know, dethrone this bro from this bot path.
Well, you know, bro has been stable. They do manage to get rid of Puffs as the Elder Gust there, as most of the teams are now funneling towards the Reggie steal. They are one man down, iClan, but they are coming back. Oswald and Ninetale starting it on this line right now. You can see Urshifu, bro, trying to get into position. There goes the solar beam from Shep. We do see bro hitting away, but Ninetale's going to look like they're going to get it. And out of all the peeps, Zavi able to take that secure. They do lose the Buzzwole though, but this is great for LDR.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's looking so difficult for the side of iClan to approach. You know, you have the Gardevoir and the Alolan Ninetales just guarding that perimeter. By the time you did get in, you had to just commit so much onto the Buzzwole to take TG out. Still, it's a pretty good KO for them to get, and you can see Untamed the G was having a bit of a tussle in the top side. Now he's definitely come out on top at least in the levels department.
Yeah, he's really doing well, just trying to filter between the top, central, and bottom parts there. He's trying to be the defender because we do know that Urshifu's passive manages to go through true damage, so they won't be able to score easily there. What we are waiting for right now is that it does look like iClan is doing the Regieleki, which is a great objective, and it does look like Team Legends Reappear is kind of just hanging around at the top pad.
No, they're not just hanging around, they're being kept busy entirely by Puff. He just presented himself as a little sponge and it's like, you know what, take me and then let them have the Regieleki, let it be in peace. And the Regieleki actually manages to sort of touch bases with the goal zone, so that's going to open up a nice overdunk. Untamed actually wants to start the fight on the back of Mystical Mirage, going in, the punches, there goes the even fist,
wow.
Bam, there goes the Gardevoir, one fell swoop and Untamed is all over.
Yeah, great move there by Untamed. There's no way that Guardy could get out, and he's still not done, but he does get smacked over by the Buzzwole. Buzzwole, though, does finally get knocked out by the Urshifu. So, you know what? Untamed putting in a lot of work for his team, and, you know, having a quick recap, he is currently leading at level 11, so well done there to Team iClan. They've narrowed the gap a little bit more now.
Yeah, absolutely here. And I mean, even though they have some shields coming through, it doesn't really matter against the Unseen Fist, allowing him to just poke through those with a bit of his damage, and it definitely goes the distance. We can see it, you know, him narrowly edging out some of these brawls against the Buzzwole. And that might be just kind of one to watch, right? Because whoever can come out of that fight and keep swinging against the rest of their opponents can actually apply a lot of pressure on this backline and tip the scales. Now, a bit of an engagement here as both teams, they're trying to size up this Reggie, but it doesn't really look too good for iClan. They're outnumbered and rings unbound, Nuggy.
Yeah, this is very interesting. iClan's going to have to fall back here. We do see Slowbro does try to stay around, but he is getting pushed aside. But look at the back there as well. You can see Buzzwole going on top of the Mew. Mew getting taken out instantly by that Unite. There goes the Ninetales Unite as well.
Wow.
Bro out of commission. And now we do see Urshifu coming in, but it's a little too late, Perma.
I mean, not too late to get the knockout, the lone Ninetales, but now it's 1v2 situation. How much more can he offer? Untamed, he's been putting in so much work, but at some point the work has to end. He's going to be taken down by the Buzzwole, and they take a nice commanding fight in the bot side. Legends reappear on the back of that beautiful Hoopa Unite move, just encircling the whole team of iClan, not allowing them any room to work.
Yeah, you said that right. But you know what? Even though iClan is quite behind in their levels, they do have a lot of wild Pokemon that they can just get experience from. But not only that, the score is actually tied. So anything can still happen in the next minute and a half before the Rayquaza comes onto play. The difficult part is how we're going to get Mew up and running. You know, Mew's kind of trailing behind a little bit. But look at that right there. You can see Sizzle really trying to fight mano a mano. But the suppression and lockdown from that Buzzwole is doing so much.
The B in Buzzwole stands for bouncer, stands for bodyguard. Don't touch my teammates, he says. Just knocks them around and plays with them like they're toys. Doesn't really, you can't really get past that. Every single angle you try and take, you just get uppercut, slammed to the ground. It's very hard to get in there. And I mean, we talked about this Scissor not being a very consistent or just present or prevalent pick.
Yeah.
Maybe we're starting to see why here. It hasn't really done much this game so far.
Buzzwole, the B, also stands for bully right now, Perma, and he's definitely bullying the other all-rounders. Buzzwole is really showing his true power, but you can see iClan not giving up at all, comfortably taking that Regieleki, and they are going to now funnel through to the central, because look at Legends reappear. They are positioning themselves well. They may do a little defense here, which it looks like they are, but in doing so, now iClan, they are going to show you why they were the winners of last year. They are getting ready for this engage coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught that, Nagi, but it was another patented Puff, go send yourself into the clutches and make them run around in the set. They were just chasing their Eldegoss, like you said. The setup is there and Unite moves are ready. This clash is likely going to decide how it all pans out. We gotta watch Frith on that Slowbro. Has the slow beam available, but the dunk back, he's out of position. The surf back towards his team, trying to get out, and here comes Urshifu. Just cleans out the back line on the Wiggly, and just carnage. They managed to take down the Scissors over Urshifu with the even face popping heavy up, and what a nice snipe! Eject button out, saves that Gardevoir for the rest of the team. Not so lucky. Huge fairy singularity, but Harvey doesn't get out against Jack. Electro Ball cleans up shop here. Are they a janitorial team or are they playing Pokemon Unite the way they're wiping the floor?
Yeah, what an amazing initiation there. Great catch by the Shifu, but look at Liz trying to stay up there, but no, gets taken out as well. Mew doing a very nice back cap at the top side, scoring a comfortable 100, so they just got to get 2 hundo burger dunks right there, and we are looking now that iClan is 200 points ahead. Now, all they have to do is to defend the Rayquaza, because now, it's on the hot seat for LDR.
Yeah, I mean, they still do have one single Unite move. That Wiggly got taken out of the fight real bright and early, and she can be back. She can make the difference with this Starlight Recital. We'll have to see.
Yes.
The pressure is on Legends Reappear. You can tell Chi-Chi, he's getting desperate. He's jumping in. Is this the engagement that he won? They're starting to clean up on the back line again. The Gardevoir just goes down, and there doesn't seem like there's any lingering hope. The remaining members of iClan, they're just standing their ground. But okay, TT, he's found his way back around. They finally eliminated that Mew, the pesky Shepherd home Mew has been such a thorn in their side, and Nagi, I don't know if they have time.
No, they don't. I don't think they have time. With less than 20 seconds to go and 3 of the members already down, this looks like the first game is going to iClan. And yeah, we thought iClan was struggling for the first, half of the match, but you can see when it mattered most, they just delivered. They positioned beautifully. They got the picks that they wanted to, and yeah, look, props off to Shep there. Mew being just the final support, damaging off what Urshifu could not. That was an outstanding display of attacks from iClan.
Yeah, I think the one thing that stands out to me the most about iClan in that game is, this new Thea Sky Ruins, there are so many entrances and little avenues and nooks and crannies towards Legendary Pit to get into Rayquaza, but they made use of that so well. You saw the focus from Javi as well as DC. They were just slamming those moves down the central, but take a look at the angle. Joe from the top side, Untamed from all the way behind, just catching them by surprise, and you can't cover all your bases like that. You don't have enough.
Yeah, they tried to stick together, but it just wasn't good enough. And then, we can see here from, definitely the graph here at the start, LDR did have a nice lead, but iClan quickly brought it back up. They actually let LDR get the Regirock, while Urshifu and Scizor at the time went ahead and went the Regieleki, and they tried to push it through to the top tier 2 pad. They were just focused on getting their levels up. So this was, and then you could see there from the 6 to 8 minute mark, just before the Rayquaza, it was so tied. It could have gone either way. And like I said, in the final 2 minutes, iClan were just able to position that much better leading up to that final fight.
Yeah, I think there clearly is a difference in terms of front line when you're talking about the Wiggly versus the Bro, right? There's a reason why this Bro is in the top 5, and not just in OC, right? Across all regions, we even see this Pokemon being first pick, first ban, because it is so reliable and has so much inbuilt sustain. With that being said, gotta give props to Untamed, because I feel like he didn't have the best early game. He managed to really claw it back paw by paw and bring it to an even standstill, where he finally just kind of made such huge impact in that final fight.
Yeah, no, Untamed was definitely one of the MVPs there who were able to just kind of cover the bases and keep that level lead ahead. And it was just so great to see. So we're just going to, quickly, I want to say LDR did well. They were very strong pre the tier 1 pads that were broken down. They had control of the lane, but once, things grouped up, it was, it kind of taken that little shift, iClan managed to scrape that neutral, not lead, but they became tied, and yeah, it was crazy. So guys, we're going to cut back and have a quick look at the highlights, because we want to see all the goodies that we saw in that last match.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out as we get into a glimpse of that previous match is that, we're going to these highlights are really going to tell a very detailed story, because you talked about it. There are language barriers on the side of Legends Reappear, but when you're playing cookie cutter Pokemon Unite, when you're rotating from objective to objective, when you're talking about fundamentals, like in the early path, these things don't really need to be discussed. You have those practice down to a T, it's muscle memory at that point. But when things start to get chaotic, when you're getting surrounded on all sides, when your backline special attackers are being suddenly found out by one stray Urshifu, a Scizor who you completely didn't expect, just pops in with the Red Illusion Drive, that's when suddenly, when you're trying to communicate, or maybe the lack of communication might actually come back to bite them. We saw a bit of a shaky, sort of slow descent from the side of Legends Reappear, and it's just, it does break my heart a little bit, because with the way that they're playing, they had it solid for the first 5 minutes. Like we said, they had it even, but they just weren't able to just get that clutch team fight coordination off.
Yeah, Just that fight right there from that highlight, you can see how iClan managed to close in on the gap and flank them at the same time. It was very great to see how iClan won that engage. And yeah, well deserved to iClan for winning round 1. We are going to hopefully see what LDR is going to do for round 2. You know, go back to the drawing board, think what they can do to turn it around, because they did show dominance at the start.
Yeah, Nagi, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be mad disappointed. And not just in Legends Reappear. Slightly, and I don't mean this in a harsh way, slightly new as well. You sold me Legends Reappear. You're like, these guys, you know, they're so consistent. The new kids on the block, they're gonna bust. I'm just like, yeah, okay, you know, I know I'm a bit of an OC grandpa at this point.
Yes.
I haven't looked at, you know, the last time it was the previous broadcast last year. I'm like, I'm still in the glory days. I'm like, oh my gosh, iClan to Worlds. And then now, iClan still look as good. They still look as solid.
I mean,
and Joe, even on the scissors, didn't look too bad. It wasn't great, but it didn't look too bad.
Yeah, look, it's just, I think at the end of the day, it's just trust between your teammates, you know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to be a lot of LDR's gameplay, to have trust between the teammates. And yeah, look, we're going to see what they're going to do. But, you know, stick around, guys, because we're going to go into the next round. Let's see how they're going to reset their mind and go into this next round.
Yeah, I'm just a little worried because I think in doing our bit of our research, of course, in the lead up, we definitely have watched some of these teams, kept an eye on some of these players. I keep messing up his name, guys. I keep wanting to say Harvey. Harvey? Zavi? We can ask him later on. But of course, Harvey, yeah, they're gonna ban out the bro. But I'm just curious because, you know, iClan, really, you can see that Harvey really is the best at this Delphox. I hope we get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
Because, now it's opened up.
I mean, LDR Liz is picking up first. If they don't pick Delphox, you know,
there we go. Come on. Come on.
Zavi has to, right? Like, if you lose that ground 1, you best believe you're going to bring your A game, your best comfort Pokemon that you can, that is relevant to the current meta. And great to see Zavi on Delphox. This may be the winning formula for them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Harvey is that he just is a real master at the 1-2 step. You know, the flame charge. Ooh, missed you. Flame charge here, flame charge there. And what's gonna get you out of the reach of iCleanse? You know, sticky little Alolan Ninetales. You know, the Puffs. Okay, it's not gonna be Puffs playing it. The Untamed perhaps on this Urshifu once again. Wicked single strike Urshifu does pack a lot of power, but not the best mobility. So definitely with that additional mobility on their side, could keep themselves a little bit safer than the Gardevoir.
Yeah, and we've seen that. Look, you know what? We've lost. Frith has lost his Slowbro. Looks like Shep has gone in and picked up the Snorlax for the replacements. But Frith picking up, that Ninetales is going to be strong as well. We're going to see how much that does counter. Liz going for a Wigglytuff and Garchomp, which is a nice thing to see. We haven't seen a lot of Garchomp lately.
Yeah, Garchomp is the de facto, when it first got released, was always this be all end all. Okay, you know, if this guy gets to the level 12s, level 13s, you're gonna have to bring an army to stop him. And I mean, they're trying to match up with that with Untamed back on that Machamp. So now it's gonna be Joe piloting that Urshifu. Okay, I say that they instantly swap. So Untamed probably gonna be back in that central area on the Cutfu into the Urshifu, trying to get those early levels up and keep the game snowballing. I'll be interested to see if he switches things up and goes for the Rapid Strike though.
Yeah, we'll see if he switches up. They may leave him to be that Wicked Blow just because it's the secure, just in case anything goes south. You know, Wicked Blow has been well known to just be able to take that objective easily off others, and we've seen magical things happen from that type of moveset there. Joe looking to pick up Machamp, and you know what? We did talk about Machamp earlier. I think it was Fu who mentioned he'd like to see a Machamp, and we are seeing that today. But yeah, this is an interesting one because LDR hasn't actually chosen any defenders. They are relying on Wigglytuff to be that frontline perma. So that's going to be, you know, a bit interesting because for so long we've seen so many teams pick double defenders even, you know. So for LDR not to pick one, let's see how it pans out for them.
Yeah, long are the days of defenders just being under the heel of every other Pokemon class, right? Yeah. Now we have defenders are on top, baby. And if you don't get a defender, I really don't know how it's going to work out for you because we saw the exact pitfalls that happened. Wiggly, yes, very tanky, very, you know, able to kind of shrug off some of these hindrances with the Starlight Recital, but not quite at the level of some of these other defenders or maybe even some of these other supporters, right? Blissey has a lot of self-sustain, has natural cure to shrug off any hindrances. You know, if you get popped like that on Liz on the Wigglytuff, it's just going to be the same story again. So Legends reappear. Now they have the Delphox on their side. They have a bit of their Siggies. I think we saw a bit of Chi-Chi playing some, Tyranitas, Garchomp types as well, just trying to get to that late stage of the game and dominate. I'm excited to see what Legends can bring.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting matchup. I love to see that both Gible and Machop is up the top side there, going toe-to-toe. Snorlax being kind of pushed around a little bit, but there goes the Wiggly. We talked about the defender, already low on HP, has to fall back, and this is a commanding start for Team iClan. You can see how much of a difference it is to have that kind of defender-attacker dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Snorlax has always been, since the start of the game, one of the strongest early path Pokemon, right? With that Body Slam, easy secure on any single wild Pokemon, and easy chase down as well. Gives you mobility and gives you a large bulk of damage. Especially not to mention, this Snorlax, if he's ever in any trouble, he's just, I'm feeling real sleepy. Just takes a little rest right in front of him.
Takes a little rest. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Even if he is low, he has his passive Gluttony. If he's able to take that berry heals him up so much more than a normal Pokemon would.
Oh, here comes Untamed. Oh, huge Wicked Blow on the Chi-Chi. And that's going to be the Gible just melted like absolute butter here. Despite the rotation coming in from Tavi earlier on, it doesn't match up to the power level of this Urshifu. Now, Frith might be in some trouble, might have overstepped a little bit, and is going to get taken down by the Mystical Fire build from DC. Meanwhile, Invade going on. Oh, another punch, another blow, left and right. The uppercuts are coming through. Untamed. He's just not being stopped. A third hit just gets him 3. This man is unstoppable.
Yeah, well, look, we've talked about it a lot, back in before with the whole, as they would go in and take away your own buffs. Urshifu is the next best thing, and you can see just having a Eldegoss, but not just any Eldegoss, Perma. It is the Curry Puffs Deluxe Eldegoss. That man was meant to play that Pokemon. He is such an amazing supporter for the teammates he carries. So, and I've always said, supporters and defenders, they are the backbone. They allow people like Untamed or Urshifu, whatever Pokemon you want to play, to just do the things you want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's getting to be a bit of a, afternoon tea break time, which explains why, everyone on the side of Legends reappear just desperately chasing after some curry puffs. Maybe they're feeling a little bit hungry. But iClan, they're using that to their advantage. It's a patented move at this point. Every single time they want to take an objective, they're like, yo, puffs, go run in front of them.
Yeah, exactly.
A little, and it works every time.
Yeah, it's a cat and mouse, and we do know how hard it is to get rid of an Eldegoss. But you can see the engage here for members of LDR going against 4 of the iClan. Xavi really trying to provide that supporting a firepower there, because you know what, at the end of it, it's Ninetales at the end trying to go up against toe-to-toe with the Delphox, but Sylveon right now, Mystical Fire, not too bad, but I think Hyper Voice at that moment in time at least would have been a little bit more impactful, but we'll see how that pans out as we go to the bottom Regirock.
Oh no, walking straight to the Avalanche, narrowly missing that heavy slam. That would have been disastrous. Catches a reset out, and I just want to point out Icy playing that Hoopa is one of our highest win rate among the top 5 right now, so we'll have to see how they use that. Still at that early level, so doesn't have the rings unbound just yet, but just the hyperspace hold alone is allowing Legends reappear to stay in this fight. Now iClan, they want to contest though.
Oh, yeah, look, they do have the secure with the Urshifu. Urshifu charging up his Wicked Blow, goes for the hit, and Ninetales actually gets that for the Urshifu.
Wow.
Now, that was a fantastic play. Sylveon going down to the Urshifu as well, and they are not stopping Perma. They are still pushing forward. All 4 of them are down here. Hooper in a lot of trouble. Urshifu getting rid of that Hooper just like that, and they managed to take down the Tier 1 pad.
Yo, what is going on? Did you see that Puffs rotation? They're not done. The heat is out, and the punches are in. Joe, the signature Machamp, does its work and takes down the counterpart on the top side. iClan, they're just firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah, and look at that. Puffs playing cat and mouse yet again, kind of being the scout for Team iClan. Just really going in there, causing a lot of grief for that Sylveon. Joe getting rid of the Swablu's and Altaria farm. And then here comes the Wiggly, their frontliner. They are a little bit scattered. They are being pushed up against the wall right now, Perma. You can look on the map that iClan is just going all front into their territory. Just trying to really starve them out of any wild Pokemon experience that they can grab.
Yeah, now finally evolving into that Garchomp might give them a bit more of a fighting chance. But like you said, the backs are slightly against the wall now. Nagi Untamed, as well as this Machamp from Joe, have really just put on so much pressure. And it's been a little bit quiet from Harvey. We haven't really seen him, be able to put in the work yet, forcing the Cotton Crash out. Takes out the Garchomp before he can even catch the right hold. These two supporters are beasting it here. They're not even needed. They're just chasing down their opponents. The 1-2, the step over, the leapfrog, and oh no, Harvey gonna at least get that KO, but just gets the Snorlax right down. And I mean, this is just absolute domination from iClan.
Yeah, I know, like we're halfway through the game and right now LDR just cannot get onto the scoreboard. You can see Untamed going in, taking more of the wild Pokemon experience that LDR desperately so needs. We have talked about in the past, Perma. I've mentioned to you, a few times, if Xavi is able to get to level 12, you're going to see magical things happen. But even right now, they're going to need a miracle to come back from this.
Yeah, I mean, the two support, we've been just looking at them the entire past 3 minutes because they're the ones doing so much work. I can't begin to imagine how Joe and the Lone Knighters are doing. Okay, Fanciful Fireworks to start out the fight, really pressuring out that Machamp, and now Untamed is in trouble. Even Fist out, the punch through, at least gets the KO before it goes down, but gets cleaned up. Now the punches as well, Barrage Blow out, but Machamp not looking very healthy. This is actually a really good fight, but that's not if Chef has something to say about it. Freezes them down, just like an ice cube, and now Chi has that pollen puff on his head, just to take down the Elder Gods, but once again, iClan continuously come out on top.
Yeah, but that was so close. It could have gone either way there, and it's just the positioning of iClan to just narrowly get out on top there. But even saying that, they are getting that much-needed catch-up experience that we talked about, so LDR can benefit from that at the very least. However, they will most likely have to forego this Regirock because there's just not enough players there to be able to contest for it. And you can see that this is going to be done comfortably. In the meantime, Machamp is just being the lone defender. Even though he's an all-rounder, he's defending the top pad.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about iClan, they are just playing so relentless, right? They are just completely riding off the back of their two insane support players to just get so much work done and allow the cause to just be up in levels. Now, all things considered, EXP-wise, across the board, it is pretty even, but can't help but feel like now it's 182-0. Are we gonna have another shout-out of a game, Nagi?
Well, I mean, look, it almost happened. We almost had one game thanks to Kels and Foo's amazing casting about a possible donut. But Ghost Leap did manage to get a little bit of a score there. But you know what? We might have a round two. Another chance for it to happen. But at this point, anything can happen with less than 30 seconds to go. And we always say, where there is a ray, there is a way.
Absolutely, and for Legends Reappear, they can really try and capitalize off by keeping their distance away from the side of iClan. iClan, they want to jump in, burst you down, and take you out in one fell swoop. But if you can continuously use your Delphox, use your Sylveon to poke away with the fires, you can just get them down low. And the sustain coming from the Elder Gods, yes, it's impressive, but it doesn't match up to the Hyperspace hole.
Yeah, and here we go to the Rayquaza. Great push there from the Regieleki to create that pressure. It doesn't look like LDR is bothered by it right now. They're going in for the attack. Curry Puffs moving back. Here goes the Snorlax really bringing in the block. Snorlax in a lot of trouble here. Might be opting for a Unite move. There goes the Fireworks. We do see Garchomp with its Unite, but there goes the counter from the Ninetales as well. Xavi managing to get rid of the Machamp, which is massive. Snorlax with the Unite move, trying to keep them at bay. But look at LDR taking 3 members out of the 4 now. All that's left is Untamed. This is LDR's chance. They're over 300 points behind, but it looks like they're doing everything they can to get that Rayquaza. They have done a team wipe, Perma. This is LDR's chance.
There's a way, like you said, Nagi. LDR, they caught iClan with their pants down, getting a little bit too cocky, my brothers. You might be on top, but not for long. The dunks are going to come flying through, and there's Burgers left, right, and center. 400 points up. iClan, how could you let this slip? They gotta be kicking themselves like that because you can't take a team fight like that. Untamed wasn't in position and they still went for that engagement. The two supports that have been leading the way for iClan so far, a fatal misstep, found them in the front lines, getting caught out where they weren't supposed to, and now iClan, they have to play catch up.
Yeah, look, they still have a little bit of time. You can see Frith and Curry Puffs trying to lead the charge, waiting for their teammates to come in. Look at that Sylveon, though. Sylveon's going for a sneaky back cap. What an amazing play. Now leading it by 200 points. This is going to be increasingly difficult for iClan to be able to take this, and they've just probably realized it now. They just do not have that much Chaos energy to dunk in, and this will now be perma. May I say, I think we're heading into a Game 3 situation.
Oh my goodness, as the timer runs out, so do the members of iClan. I can't imagine the atmosphere in that team. You had that game all the way until the 8.5-minute mark, and you just let it slip from right under your nose. Can't be doing that at the highest level of competition. We're talking about representing OC at Worlds, and every single one of these teams has come to play. Xavi on his Delphox delivers.
Yeah, look, I'll say it again, guys. Where there's a Ray, there is a way. At 300-point deficit right there. You could see the flat line all the way to that 8-minute mark, and this is perfectly encapsulates the power of Rayquaza. As soon as they achieve that, look at all those pads on LDR's side, on top, on in advantage, just to be able to break it all from iClan, managing to get that front. And you know what? If that wasn't enough, when you thought that iClan maybe had a hope left to kind of push back and score, you see that sneaky Sylveon getting that last hundo burger dunk down as well, and that was just an amazing play by LDR. And you know what, from a team, like I said, that is kind of like half comms and half just intuition, and you talked about this, right? This is why I think they are underdogs, because they can, we talked about telepathy. Maybe they are telepathic. Yeah. They know exactly when to go in. I mean, it wasn't like that in Game 1, but they definitely showed that in Game 2. And this will get iClan to wonder, should we have banned Delphox instead?
I mean, if I was iClan, I'd just take that out of the equation. Over 100k damage from this player and Pokemon combination. And more than anything, it's not even that iClan were losing for most of that. They were doing well. Puffs and Frith were going off as usual. But you just can't get cocky like that. You can't do that, especially not against your opponents when they have such immense explosive potential. I do have to point out, and we'll get to see a bit of this in the replay as well, I really do have to commend LDR, because it's easy to get frantic. It's easy to get desperate in these moments. You're looking at everybody across the board. You're like, we know we have 0 points right now. It's not looking too hot. But yeah, we're going to get into the highlights real quick. But we'll see in that final fight, it was insane because there was so much patience. We were talking about how can Legends reappear to take the fight. They need to make use of their poke, and they did it perfectly. But the early game, it was all iClan.
We're gonna look at the highlights. We can see most of the times in terms of objectives and even invasion, iClan came out on top in a lot of these engagements. They were able to really apply pressure, kind of like a reversal of what LDR did in Game 1. And this was such, this part here, fantastic to see. They pushed forward as well, be able to get the score pads down. LDR still currently unable to score any sort of AOS energy points down as well. And Curry Puffs, we talked, he was everywhere in this type of match right there. And not too far behind Curry Puffs was Frith with the Snorlax. And it just goes to show, just don't give up. This was probably one of the turning points where LDR may have thought, we were just this close in being able to, take them all out. But it didn't actually bother them. Maybe not having on comms was a key factor, because they don't hear any frustration. They just get on with the show. They go on towards their mission. And as you can see here, they let that Regieleki slide. They were just focused on this final engagement right here.
Yeah, it's a shame that we're not going to be able to see that exact moment, but I do have to commend TT, because this was a player. We were talking about that Garchomp pick. It's not something we see very, very often, but he found the perfect Dragon Rush and Dragon Claw combo to take out the backliners, forcing them to get out of there. And just like that, iClan, they just get completely caught on the wrong side. They, Untamed wasn't there, just caught out of position. He was trying to get something sneaky done. The rest of the team just absolutely converged, and they took them out one by one before they went for that Ray and found themselves an opening to take game number 2. And Game 3's on our hands, Nagi.
Oh my gosh. I mean, look, we talked about it. Yeah, look, it was a kind of a role reversal from game 1 with LDR dominating, then losing, and now it's iClan's turn. So this just goes to show that these two teams, we have a veteran, a world-class team from iClan heading to London from last year, and we have the new team on the block, This is a fantastic showing of one small mistake. Whatever team makes that mistake, they don't mean to, but one tiny misstep can be the downfall of that entire engagement, especially when there is something like a Rayquaza involved to really turn the tides. And boy, this is such a perfect example of how important Rayquaza can be in certain situations.
Absolutely. And one of the things for Legends Reappear here, they could defeat iClan to stay in the winners bracket here.
boy.
That would be huge. Now, I'm going to be
Sounds
honest
so
with you,
weird,
Nagi.
right?
It sounds crazy to say, and I'm not sold just yet. They'd have to win this game to
Yes.
really get my buy-in. But what I
Yes.
will say is that right now for iClan, I do think one of the missing components is Joe. When we saw that team breakdown early on and we saw that Joe had replaced Pingu, I really, really high hopes because Pingu is such a solid, stable top half player.
Yeah.
And Joe, he's very explosive, has his signatures, as we'll get into the draft and see exactly what he picks here. But
Yeah.
I mean, with the scissor, with the Machamp, despite that being a signature, it just didn't feel like it's really matched up so far. I want to see Joe pop off. I want to see Joe explode, and hopefully they get him a Pokemon that he can do just that on.
Yeah, well, look, into draft we go to here, and you know what? These bands sum it up perfectly. They don't want to go up against Delphox again. And talking about Joe, I do know that one of his favorite Pokemon is. If you really want to showcase the absolute Joe tech that the OC region calls, is that if he is allowed to play Greninja. Now, I know we don't actually see Greninja lately because he's just not currently in the meta with the special attackers taking reign of that title. But maybe if he does get to go there, then you will be able to see the impact that Joe can do for iClan. Because, in a way, this is kind of like Joe's initiation. He's the first player from Australia to fuse into a New Zealand team. So this is going to be very interesting to see what the player is going to be. Look, we can see Frith going straight on the Slowbro. Zavi picking up that Urshifu. We do know how strong that Pokemon is. Icy now picking up on the Hooper. And look at that, a Blastoise coming into the scene. That's interesting to see.
Oh, Joe. I gotta love that guy. He gets defeated by a Garchomp. He's like, I can do that. I could do that. Give me that. Give me that Pokemon. Picks it up for himself now with the Rapid Fire Scarf, and Untamed gonna be piloting that Chandelier, or maybe we'll see some switches around. But we'll have to see how it all shakes out here. But Savi, knowing that Urshifu is something Untamed likes to go towards, is gonna snatch that up. And DC actually gonna be on the Decidueye. So I remember the trainer cards, we'll probably see it later. But I don't know much about this player. But if you love Decidueye enough to get that trainer wear and the hood on it, I'm excited to see what he brings.
Yeah, look, Perma, I can help you out with that. I am fortunate enough to know some of these members from LDR. DC loves to snipe, and he also loves to do a little bit of invasion as well. He loves Decidueye, he loves Mew, anything that can kind of go pew-pew from afar, he loves to use it. So, and you know what? He is extremely talented in taking down objectives when it counts. So, if this was to happen, and if DC, I'm going to call it here. I think DC may be the key factor to upset iClan if iClan isn't careful.
Yeah, look at that Decidueye just kind of wear over
like
there.
The trainer,
yeah, he's just rocking it. He literally
is.
This dude came to play. I mean, everyone just embodying their favorite Pokemon here. You can see Savi as well with the Delphox wear, really cool stuff. But yeah, I definitely agree. Decidueye is always such a volatile factor because it's an age-old. If you can't keep your distance, man, you're just slapping your opponents left, right, and center. But as soon as they close it, that's when you can't do anything anymore. You can't even run. You don't have mobility. You're basically toast. So iClan, they have a tall order ahead of them to really find DC, single him out. Now, they didn't have any issues with that in game number 1, but they're gonna have to do it again here.
Yeah, look, this is kind of weird. I have goosebumps, Perma, because I'm thinking, why does it feel like the momentum shift has actually headed over to LDR? iClan, super powerhouse, where they are in the top 2 currently in the regional leaderboards. But why do I feel like LDR kind of has that advantage? And I think it's just because that, LDR just showed that when all hope may be lost, they can still come back out on top, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, there's nothing more scary than someone who has their back against the wall. The caged animal is always gonna wait for their moment to bite, and legends reappear. Yes, they are in this winner's bracket. Yes, both these teams have a second shot at life here in the loser's bracket, but nobody wants to take their chances down there. They want to stay safe, they want to stay comfy, they want to just watch their opponents from afar, and I claim this will be a huge upset if legends reappear are able to fell the Titans.
Yeah, you can see the bottom path there that it will be an advantage to Iceland. They're just a little bit stronger here. But oh my gosh, Shep living on a dream right now, managing to just get away. I didn't even know that was possible, but he had quick reflexes there.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit unfortunate there. I think DC was trying to go in for that steal. The defense goal gets walled off. Just get a little pinball action going on here on the Jigglypuff. But yeah, as we see now, Harvey, he's going to switch things up. He's going for the rapid strike instead with the chase down. Might be able to help them actually lock down Puffs for once, who's been very elusive.
Yeah, Puffs has really showed why he's a strong Elder Gods. We do see Ninetales getting a nice little KO there, as well as the Lampert going down for a successful attack. And, you know, Hooper trying to use his hyperspace hold, trying to bring in any sort of reinforcements. Urshifu trying to go in there, but look at the power of just a Lampert. Actually putting Urshifu down to less than half. Maybe the end of it. Oh my god! Gets burnt out by the passive of Lampert. What a huge advantage there by Iceland.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little spooked because I'm like, uh-oh, Savy's coming in. He's gonna get some surging strikes. He just gets completely dogged down to half HP before he can even make it there. And on the way out, they finish off the rest, and now it's a full-scale invade. Ninetales isn't giving them any quarter to work. And take a look at Puffs. He's doing it again, Nagi.
Again and again and again. Come catch me if you can. Great movie, by the way. But yeah, Puffs is just dominating. He, you know, he doesn't really play like a supporter at all. He just plays like a pesky, I don't know, anything that invades.
Yeah, you know, every other supporter in the game is like, I stay with my attacker Pokemon.
Yes,
Heal. He's like, I attack now. He just runs into the central area, asserts dominance, and he's the only remaining member left to defend this goal zone. He might need some reinforcements as he's tanking quite a bit of damage, as now the Siege from Legends reappear. Actually gonna dunk quite a lot of points here up in this top side.
Yeah, you know what? That was a great play by Legends Reappear. They've lost a few engage. They're trying to just reassess the situation. And you know what? Make use of that hyperspace hole. I can teleport you top or bottom. Make your wish. And they have chosen the top side now, and it's doing well for them. Curry Puffs is trying to defend Joe right now. Joe going in there straight with the Dragon Rush, but does get pushed back by the Surf from the War Turtle. Joe getting locked down with DC finally becoming a Decidueye. Things are about to get spicy.
Yeah, the firing range has just opened up, and DC is here to play. The arrows knocked and ready. They're looking at Regieleki though, and this will be a huge point of pressure for Icon to deal with. It's not like their support, as strong as they are, can really address this by themselves. And 4 members to 2 members right now, I don't know if they can steal it. DC winding up the arrow, waiting for the shot, and just like you said, Nagi, finds it smart. DC perfectly done. And right now, the Chandelier putting out a lot of damage untamed. He's gonna punish them for it. Flowing Fist coming through though. KO streak of 3, that's where it ends. As the Urshifu absolutely pops off. Still going through. Liquidation. The shield keeps him up and running. Joe tries to survive. Manages to get the evolution, but the snipe again. DC, he's not stopping. Has the Regieleki by his side. And reinforcements, he does not stop. This is Citywise on fire.
Yeah, absolutely went like a front line, using Regieleki as his buddy to just be that distraction and snipe away that Garchomp. He is, you know, maybe I'm a prophet, I don't know, but we're gonna find out in the next 5 minutes after that. But look, Iceland responded really well, but they just didn't anticipate that Decidueye perma. He was just getting free snipes.
I don't know how you cannot anticipate it. From what you're telling me, this DC guy is absolutely cracked, and we saw it for ourselves just there, timing the arrow perfectly. And right now, they might be looking to address him. Take a look at that. The slow beam instantaneously as soon as they see him. Nice wrap around from Fifth, finally addressing that pain point. And here comes the Ice Typhoon, but there isn't really a lot of follow-up damage. This Xavier Urshifu needs to catch a reset back, but nice Dragon Claw pushes him out. No shot, and TC has to surf away all alone. Catching on the wave is Fifth, pushing this poor Blastoise back, and that safety gear isn't gonna help you there. Knocked out from the distance. Gonna try and peel them off this goal zone. It's working for now, and Iceland, they retreat, but huge engagement from them to claw things back.
Yeah, that was fantastic. You know what? We were wondering why Joe chose Garchomp, and we keep sometimes forgetting that Dragon Rush can really put the displacement away from Hooper, trying to bring their allies back to base. And right there, you saw such a great denial there from the Garchomp to not be able, to prevent enemies from going home. And now it looks like iClan is taking back control. They're getting a free Regirock, and just like that, we do see at the same time that LDR will be concentrating all their efforts potentially on the top. But look at bottom path. iClan is ignoring Regieleki, and now they're pushing forward at the bottom lane.
They're forcing a response here. You either lose your bot tier 1 goal zone, or you come fight us, give up the Regieleki. Now Puff might be some trouble. The throwing fist, like we said, surging strikes, allowing that Urshifu to catch up. They finally address that just absolute pest of an Eldegoss, and now they're looking at the Regieleki. I think one important thing to point out, Nagi, is how this Koopa has really enabled Legends reappear to answer iClan. iClan just move with the moves, but with that hyperspace hole, it's been allowing Legends reappear to actually contest where they need to.
Yeah, exactly that. You can see Garchomp really trying to use his Unite there, but no, Hooper gets out. There goes the Recital, bringing the Sing away from Garchomp, and now they are pushing forward with this Regieleki, but they might not be. It looks like they're maybe going down through the central path to the bottom. We are seeing that Garchomp is now going to be solo defending against that Regieleki, but Hooper getting caught out. That Imprison from Chandelure prevents Hooper from teleporting. So, you know what? We talked a lot about all these other Pokemon, Perma, but Chandelure with Imprison is a very deadly skill.
Especially against a Decidueye who needs to be keeping his distance. If you manage to catch him in that little zone, he's gonna be in trouble. Same kind of story for this Blastoise who has gone Surf, right? He wants to just try and get that initiation, but if you catch him beforehand, all of that is just gonna be nullified. iClan, even though the point difference is around 40, it's not the craziest, but it really feels like they just have a stranglehold on this game right now. Legends reappear. The only way they're keeping up is just by way of this Hoopa portal. There's not much else.
Yeah, definitely. We always forget about Chandelure's power as well, just really putting on the pressure. And you know what? With 40 seconds left to go, it does look like iClan has a commanding level lead just because of the Garchomp keeping up. Urshifu already at level 13. It looks like they're just playing defense. We're going to see what they're going to do there, because if something happens with the Regieleki Ice, this is the chance for any team to go straight to the Rayquaza.
Yeah, they're starting to circle around, and the steal, not this time. DC a bit too early on the snipe. That looked a little bit dicey with the way Legends reappear were wrapping around. I was worried for Untamed there, but they don't manage to make anything out of it. And Frith, take a look at his position.
Wow.
He's in a very forward stance. Anyone who tries to even encroach is going to be in trouble. They catch Icy. Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
Trying to get cheeky with the Phantom Ambush and get cut down.
What an excellent surf going through the wall there, picking up that Hooper. Now LDR in a lot of trouble. iClan not actually starting the Rayquaza, trying to bring out their units. There goes Garchomp with his Unite. Wigglytuff being silenced away. Decidueye getting caught. Slowbeam as well. There goes LDR. They've lost a lot of their members. And here they're still pushing forward. They want to make sure all members of LDR are down. Joe with the 3 KO as the Garchomp.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's waited the whole game for this one. The Dragon Claws have just been on point, and really nicely done from iClan to just sniff out the aggression from Legends Reappear. Knew they were trying to find an angle. Immediate slow beam onto DC, but have they gone a bit too far? Shem gets caught out in the deflux zone, and immediately the rings unbound. Gonna bring the whole cavalry in. Starlight Recycle as well. Is this the final song for Legends Reappear, or have they turned it around with this finale? Untamed gonna get knocked down, and that's DC coming into play. Another snipe, another arrow. Another win. Have they somehow done this? Have they somehow turned it around? It looks like it. Where there's a way, but there's a Frith standing right at your doorstep. This Slowbro looking for a sub, looking to keep iClan in the top. It's not gonna happen. SCC. Nuggy calls it perfectly, steals it with the arrow, and it's straight with the Hundo Burgers now.
Oh, that's 2 Hundo Burgers coming in. They are now ahead. Only 30 seconds to go. This is a massive upset that we're watching, ladies and gentlemen. LDR has made magic appear. They lost the initial team fight, but they are fighting back. They just do not give up. Right now, all that... I don't know if Team Icon can get to the pads on time, let alone score 150 points to take over. It's just not enough time.
It's not happening, Liz. Going in with the Mooski, going in for the last double
just go
dunk,
for it.
and that's
Go
gonna
for it.
seal the deal. Call them postmen the way they've just addressed Iceland perfectly. Send the Kings down to the lower bracket. You New Zealanders are gonna have to try a little harder than that, they say. Language barrier ain't gonna stop us this time.
My gosh, if there was telepathy between these teams, they have certainly showed it. I always knew that LDR had potential, and you know what? To beat a world-class team like Icon, or at least just to send them down to the lower brackets, just goes to show that OC region has amazing dark horse potentials. And Mike, you know what? DC, well-deserved of the MVP. Played that beautifully, kept your position, and yeah, there was just amazing to see what type of gameplay that we saw here. And you could see the graph, it was close. Icon again were ahead.
Dude.
They even won the first engage perma of
no
the team
way.
fight. But
DC.
I just think maybe Icon should have just started the Ray, you know, and fish out the Decidueye that was hiding, or whoever was there. I felt like that was their time, because they did have a Garchomp to kind of, you know, rip the Ray down really quickly, but they opted to just kind of fall back. And with that, we talked about it a lot. That Ooper with Rings Unbound really turned it around. As soon as he turned that on, brought the entire team of LDR to the front lines, and that just spelled the end for Icon.
Yeah, it's like that scene where Doctor Strange opens all the portals. Suddenly the whole crew just shows up. Doesn't matter that they're speaking different languages. They're all here for that Ray, and they know exactly what they need to do. And man, it's gotta feel so frustrating for Icon, because you won that first game well, coming back from a bit of a tough situation. The second game was supposed to be yours, and now it feels like a series that was just robbed from you here by Legends Reappear. But all credit goes to DC. This man, it's gotta be a special feeling to be pushed to the limit. Pick your Siggy and come in here and just bust them open. Do exactly what Nuggy predicted. All the steals. You said at the start, Nuggy,
I did.
DC is gonna be the key factor, and Nuggy was right.
Look, if he's like me, he's probably shaking right now, because he did do some amazing snipes. Not only that, to just make sure that his team got that Rayquaza. It could have gone either way, but they did have that commanding lead. We did see that Thrift tried to get that with the Surf, but just wasn't able to. And you know what? If anything for Icon, this is probably just gonna fuel them. You know, they're just gonna go for it. But yeah, look, we're gonna have a look at the highlights, Perma. We're gonna see exactly what went down in this game 3.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a rough one, because it felt like over and over, DC just continuously nabbed these straight from under their noses. Now, Joe did have some pop-off moments here, but early on, it was all Icon, right? Especially when we thought, okay, this Urshifu's gonna come through, gonna come in strong. It was that Lampent just dishing out so much damage. And Puffs, once again, just consistently being so annoying. But this time around, they've definitely tacked a bit to try and deal with it, right? No more just, you know, Puffs going wherever you want. Now there's the Urshifu that can actually KO you, and it did happen quite a few times.
Yeah, you're right. I think, you know what, we talked at the game 1, LDR needed to go back to the drawing board, and they definitely did. Urshifu going with that surging strikes, went straight onto the Eldegoss. Great counter there. And you can see, you know, this was really a back and forth match. Just when you thought one team was ahead, the other team came back to show that they could get back that experience that was lost. And yeah, this was honestly a great showing between both teams. And DC, there you can see, using the Regieleki as that frontliner so he can snipe away on that Garchomp. So, absolute excellent play. Many moments here, you could see Imprison being a key factor for Icon. But look, this is where we thought that things were going to change. Icon took out 3 to 4 units away, but the ones that remained were able to just defend long enough for the allies to come back, especially that Hooper.
Yeah, I think the key thing is that we were all applauding Frith for that brilliant serve over the wall to catch that Hooper, but it ended up having a negative side effect, because while everyone else was flowing in, you know, you've used all your Unite moves. We even found somebody, you know, I think there was a specific moment where it felt like Icon had the lead, and then suddenly I just see Shep at home. He's not at home. He's in the wrong home. He's way far past the speed plug zone. He's getting caught out. He's getting KO'd. And your Alola Ninetales, this stable, strong Pokemon that's topped the leaderboards in terms of the picks. You need that presence in the fight to you know, have a chance. And they just didn't have it.
Like, look, honestly, I actually think that both teams kind of stuffed up a little bit. You know, they made their little mistakes. but it was just whoever was able to recover. But my God, what a match, guys. And, with that, congrats to LDR for advancing. We are going to take a quick break. And when we do, we are going to give you
Nuggy. I got
the bracket.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
we got
the bracket. The bracket.
We need to know how it's going.
Sorry, we got to have a look at the bracket before we could go on the break. We need to see who's actually in the top here.
Yeah, we can't just leave the people hanging there. Of course, earlier on, I believe Kilo and Fu brought you that beautiful Zenith and Go Sleep first game where Zenith has come out on top. Now, we've seen how the second semifinals has panned out and EXO Clan actually managing to 2-0 Zenith after taking down D-Gens in the quarterfinals. So our winners final has been decided. It's going to be EXO Clan against Legends Reappear, and a lot of pressure coming for Legends Reappear because they're going to go up against one Titan after the other. Now, in the losers round, now we see iClan are gonna have to go up against Go Sleep, and now for the second losers quarters, it's Zenith versus Hearts Hacker. So things are definitely getting spicy. I mean, Kilo was right. We need to get loaded up on some sort of beverage because, whoo, it's heating up.
Yeah, that's crazy to see that the top one of the top teams are now in the bottom fighting for their life just to be able to stay in the competition. And not only that, Kels and Fu, I think it was Kels who hoped that Zenith was the underdog, but they are also in the lower bracket, so sooner or later those two teams may meet each other, and we have to say goodbye to one of them. But like you said, credit to where credit is due. LDR played beautifully. There was no reason for them to not deserve that because they deserved it wholeheartedly. They seem to be masters of just being, when all hope is lost, just don't give up.
This is one of the most beautiful things about Unite, right? Like, you don't give up. And I think we're a far cry away from what Pokemon Unite in OC was last year, right? Because last year, it was still back in remote stadium. It was the Zapdos, it was the instant flip. But now, Ray, you can see a lot more nuance and beauty in these team fights. LDR, big congrats to them. We're gonna go catch up on some matches in the loser bracket right after this short break. Don't go anywhere. It's been Perma and Sneeze, and Fu and Kilo will catch you after this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pokemon UNITE Championship Series. We are here for the regional finals for the OC region. And might I say, Fu, I think I still have my nails left, but that was such a nail-biting series, wouldn't you say, between Iclin and LDR?
Yeah, nail biting indeed. I was holding onto the edge of my seat watching that. What an incredible match between those two. We talked about upsets at the start of the broadcast today, and damn, they did hand it to them. The ability for LDR to just stay resilient throughout those matches and take the win over Iclin was an absolute treat to watch, Kello.
No, definitely. And we were talking about how Iclin are one of the two titans in the OC region. So the fact that they have been knocked down into that lower bracket, there could be some upsets indeed, because I feel like there is a lot on the line for this team. And you know what? The thing is, they might end up getting knocked out and possibly losing that spot. But we will have to definitely see how they go in this next matchup. Their next team they will be going up against is Go Sleep.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. Iclin versus Go Sleep here. Like you said, Iclin, this is their big chance here if they want to have a losers bracket run to make it into the finals of the regional championship here. But it's going to be a tough ask because they're up against Go Sleep, which have taken over against Degen over time in the losers bracket here. Just a quick feature of Iclin here. It's Shep, Joe, Curry Puffs, Frith, and Untamed here for Iclin.
Now, we know that these guys, they are a strong team, but I think Go Sleep, they have demonstrated their power as well in that earlier match we spectated against Zenith. So are they going to be able to deliver? But we do have 1-2, Kingor, Smurf, Duogor, and Manny on this side.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please grab your popcorn, get ready, because this is going to be a very spicy matchup here. Definitely, you do not want to miss.
Look, are we bringing popcorn or are we bringing chilies? I'm a bit confused. Maybe some chili popcorn, wouldn't you say, Fu?
Yeah, spicy popcorn. I like that. Spicy butter here. But what we want to see is in terms of the drafting here, as we are about to watch this match, what changes may Go Sleep and Iclin have changed in their matchup and roster after, getting obviously knocked out by LDR and also Zenith beating the Go Sleep team as well.
Well, look, I guess they have had a little bit of a sneak peek into their team compositions earlier. The fact that they have both been featured. So whether they're going to end up showing something that they might have hidden up their sleeves potentially, or whether they're just going to stick with these comfort picks that they have demonstrated to us this far.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go. Both teams are looking to, still considering, what bans to take. It seems like Go Sleep is probably going to be opting for the Lapras here, a very common and expected ban here. And look at that, Iclin saying we don't want to verse another Urshifu. And Frith is going to quickly lock in perhaps the Slowbro. A very good pick by them.
Look, it makes sense. We have seen the Urshifus so far rule the map. You do, and I think it's also that possibility to either go the Water Bear or the Dark Bear, the Wicked Blow or the Surging Strikes. Do not want to come up against it. But you know what? Another thing that also does bring those Surging Strikes, the Surfing, is that Slowbro, as you mentioned, and something we saw previously, which was that Venusaur goes onto the side of Go Sleep alongside that Eldegoss.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see a Venusaur back in action here, and it looks like Puff has opted to go for the Blastoise. Blastoise is a very good pick right now, especially if they are taking it in the top half yellow to scale, and then once they evolve into that Blastoise, it can really do a lot of damage in the back line of the opposing team here. And also it looks like Shep is opting for the Alolan Ninetales. It's so consistent today, right? Alolan Ninetales are a very popular Pokemon to pick for Iclin here.
I think that's a really good point that you actually mentioned about the Blastoise. The fact that it does have to reach its full evolution form to make any difference. If Go Sleep are able to shut down that Blastoise, they might have the potential, considering Sylveon does end up evolving at level 4, so gets that power spike earlier. But we can see that 1-2 has picked up that Delphox, a Pokemon that we have seen be such a powerhouse to date this far. And we have a triple-headed bird once again being locked in by Joe.
Yeah, Joe is definitely favoring to play that Dodrio here, which is going to be important for them, whether they can really take down that Delphox. Delphox, we know from just watching today as well, if you don't pay attention to it, if you leave it alone, it is going to be so detrimental for them if they don't take it out.
Definitely want to take it out, but you know what? They are amping it up today. They do have the energy amp, and we have seen how much impact a Fanciful Fireworks can make, either in defending or even just to oppress the other team. Be aggressive.
Absolutely. And we can also see, I don't know whether you saw at the end, a Snorlax coming out from Team Go Sleep as well. I think this is something new, right? Snorlax, you don't really see it anymore, even though it's quite a good defender.
Look, we all have our spicy popcorn in hand, and we cannot wait to bring you this third set of the day. Icon versus Go Sleep for the regional finals in the OC region. There's a lot at stake here for Icon. They're going to need to buckle down and think hard and make such meticulous decisions this round.
Definitely, and Go Sleep is probably here looking to send Icon to sleep so that they can keep their dreams of winning the Regionals Championship alive here. Everyone wants that ticket to Yokohama, and here we go. We are starting off with an invasion by Manny here on the Snorlax here, and it's Chansey and Dojo trying to stop this from happening, and that's going to actually allow the Alolan Ninetales to evolve at the bottom because of the use of XP share. So you know what? Manny tried the best. They did disrupt the play, but they're going to be healthy enough to get back out of this fight.
They do. They are healthy enough, but as you said, they disrupt the plays. The fact that they had to drag 3 members of Icon to just deal with the Snorlax there. Obviously, there were no takedowns though, so just playing it safe and out, trying to get those evolutions up and running, because we still have a Chansey and a Squirtle on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's always such a breath of fresh air, when teams actually go and use these different strategies to try to change it up for the team. And here we go though, Alolan Ninetales and the Slowbro looking to put some pressure on with the Altaria spawning out. Dodrio looking to flank from the back, possibly getting that Altaria as well. Now, Slowbro so low on the HP, just managed to scramble out of there. But look at that Drill Peck pick on that Dodrio. It can just push the farm away, push the wild Pokemon away so that they are safe for Icon to take.
Yeah, but you know what isn't safe, Fu? I think those wild buffs that are in the side of Go Sleep, as we do have a Joe going and yoinking the red one away from the Braxton there.
Oh my god, Joe gets punished though for that cheeky little invasion in the opposition central area here, and it looks like everyone on both teams are now gathering in the middle to soak up this experience, and most of it is actually going to go to Go Sleep here.
Yes, and that's the thing, you want to get those level leads early. You want to at least get that Delphox to a level 7 so it does end up getting that Mystical Fire and Flame Charge move combinations up and running.
Yeah, we've got an early engagement from both 4 members of each team, Icon and Go Sleep, at the bottom part here. Meanwhile, I think Untamed is looking to just scale up, maybe evolve into a Blastoise if possible here. Joe is here to help. Big Drill Peck knocks out the Sylveon, and that's going to give an good opportunity for both Joe and also Untamed on Team Icon to scale up on the top here. Big Surf coming out on Slowbro. Manny looking to just get away here. I think Go Sleep needs to maybe send the Delphox down to help defend this bottom pad.
Well, we do have that Snorlax there taking a little bit of a snoozer themselves, making sure to regain that HP in preparation for that bottom basement Reggie.
Look at this, Blissey looking to dunk and break the top goal in the top half of Go Sleep up at the top. And here we go, Snorlax taking a nap in the middle. There is so much stun potential on this Alolan Ninetales, but Go Sleep looking to do this. Reggie Ice quickly. A9 might have something to say about this, but the beam, such a reliable beam from the Ivysaur will give us secure that. Fanciful Fireworks comes out just to make so much space for their team. And Joe not able to get into the back line at all as Odrio.
You can see that Delphox is really just trying to melt the ice there with those Mystical Fires and Flame Charge to just zone away Icon there. And with the use of that Fanciful Fireworks, otherwise we can see that Ninetales, they are trying to just stab Snorlax there in the back, being like, no, you guys go to the top half, leave us alone as we try to catch up. While that Reggie Alecki is just doing such a great job of distracting a Ghost Sleep right now.
Yeah, distracting indeed. Look at that, pulling up to 3 members of Ghost Sleep up the top here. Meanwhile, Snorlax and Blastoise is having a little dance together. Everyone is just poking out now while there are no objectives on the map, just getting as much experience as possible from the wild Pokemons on their side.
Yeah, but look at the mini-map though, Fu. There are hardly any yellow dots. You can see these 2 teams are so meticulous with their macro to make sure to just take them down as they spawn. So at the moment, it's just a matter of, you know, dancing around and waiting for those spawn camps to pop them up. And, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. There isn't very much to do in this moment.
Indeed. And looking at the score as well, this is a familiar position Iceland was in here. They've scored 112 and 0 from Ghost Sleep. But what is important here for Iceland to make is to keep that iron grip on the lead if they want a chance to progress in this losers bracket here. Did you see Joe Duncan 40 in terms of a score up in that top half? That's a very sneaky Dojo tactic they have implemented.
Look, Dodrio just doing Dodrio things. You couldn't expect anything less. Just leave the rest to the rest of the team. But look at that, the tramp on tramp, rushing Joe in and down into the action. They are able to get some KOs. A huge beam does manage to chunk out some of that HP from Iceland, but they are not going down anytime soon, especially with those soft-boiled heals.
Yeah, what a push by Iceland there to break that bottom pad of the Ghost Sleep here. And looks like this Regirock is going to leave uncontested by Ghost Sleep as the teams are making their way through the central area. And also Delphox looking to just farm up a little bit more on the top to maybe get that level 11. Yes, they have. Now they will get a good cooldown reduction wherever they use the Mystical Fire move.
Yes, indeedy. But you know what? They are some indeedies on the side that Delphox is going and farming, but we do have a little bit of a skirmish here. Just the Hyper Voice trying to create some space and not let Iceland get anywhere near this Venusaur and Eldegoss in the backline. But the Snow Globe and Fairy Frolic go out at the same time. Sylveon ends up getting taken down. Ninetales with the snowball effect, having a 2 KO streak.
Yeah, definitely Iceland coming up on top in that fight here, and they're just going to use this time to do that Regieleki on top. Look at this, Joe, looking to take down. What a massive pick on the Delphox of Ghost Sleep here. Joe doing so well to make sure to aim for that Delphox, because they know if a Delphox gets up, you know, in the level lead, it's going to be, you know, trouble for them in that final fight.
Yes, trouble indeed, and that is not what Ghost Sleep want at the moment. But Regieleki is knocking on the doorstep. Sylveon is trying to yell it away, so do not come into our base, while the Blastoise just casually farms through Swablues and Altaria. But some action is happening in this bot path. Another Fanciful Fireworks to just zone away Iceland from getting any closer to them. Avalanche being popped on out, trying to just chunk out the damage of Ghost Sleep. They are putting a lot of resources into this fight right now.
Yeah, look at how good Manny was making space for their team, but I think Ghost Sleep has just said, you know what, we tried to push a little bit in the bottom goal zone, but maybe it's worthwhile just to do my central area while Pokemon get those buff resets back on and prepare for possibly a fight at the bottom for that basement Reggie.
Look, I'm a bit scared. This Ninetales here, Fu, is a level 13. That is massive. It does have both of those plus movements. We do have another red ice that has spawned. And with this a little bit of a HP buff, I feel like Ghost Sleep are definitely going to have to play their cards correctly in this final stretch.
Yeah, it's definitely up to Ghost Sleep to make a play here. Icon is sitting very comfortably with a 200-point level gap against Ghost Sleep here. So look at this, Blastoise playing very forward in this tall grass. Snorlax is coming in to maybe make a play and make some space for the team, protecting that Delphox. Oh my god, Sylveon had to use the Unite to stay in the game here. Fanciful Fireworks chunks down everyone. But look at that, Iceland doing so well to leave that area to make sure that they stay in play. They want to win this ring qualified, Hello.
Oh, they definitely do. You see Ghost Sleep, they found that opening there to make their way into the pit, but Joe is straight into the backline. Ends up getting shut down though. We also have the power net coming out from the Snorlax to just regen that health, stay in this fight a little bit longer as 4 members are getting zoned away from that spin Stoice.
Oh my god, Untamed the G. An absolute G indeed with that Spins Toys going into the backline and chunking down so much. But however, even though Delphox has been taken down on the side of Ghost League, they still have 4 members against only 3 of Eichland. But it doesn't matter because Alone the Ninetales takes down the Snorlax, and also Sylveon is out of the play. So Eichland just needs to defend this color with 49 seconds left. They just need to defend to win this match.
This fight right now is just backwards and forwards. When you think that Ghost League have found an opening, they end up just getting shut down and closed on out. Another Phantom Fireworks has been popped on out, but the slow beat on the Delphox means that it has gone to sleep, back to base, out of action, and look at that, a sneaky 100 back cap from the Blissey just to possibly seal the deal for Eichland here. With only 15 seconds left to go through, I don't think there's very much Ghost League can do right now.
Yeah, not a lot of chance left for Ghost League here, and I think Eichland played so clinically there just to stay in front the entire time, not letting Ghost League in with any gaps in their gameplay. You know, we've got knockouts from both teams that fight, but at the end of the day, Eichland was just so strong and so protective of that Rayquaza.
They definitely were protective indeed. They were protective of that baby, the big green dragon. You know what? I guess it just goes to show that not all matches you need to slay it down, right?
Absolutely, and I think this is a huge sigh of relief as well for Eichland coming off that loss against LDR to just win back the game, to just reinforce that their gameplay is solid. And look at that, looking at the score graph here, ladies and gentlemen, we can see, apart from the Reg Ice that Ghost League has secured firstly, we've seen Regieleki, both of them going to the side of Eichland, as well as that Regirock and even the Reg Ice just before the final stretch. So whenever you get these objectives and secure them, it gives you that level lead, it gives you that additional buff, which, you know, perhaps kept their momentum throughout the entire game.
No, they kept the momentum, and this is the momentum that they need to make a comeback. They are not going down easily today, and we can definitely see that. And I must say, definitely the MVP there, the Slowbro that did receive that badge was definitely well-deserved. They sustained those fights very well, and I think at that last moment to use the Slow Beam and shut down the Delphox, that was such a pivotal moment.
Yeah, that was incredible play. I also want to shout out Puffs as well. On that Blissey, you can see 123,000 healing damage there. We've always talked about how good when, you know, players do so much damage or they tank a lot, but you got to give a shout out to the support players too.
Of course, as we mentioned time and time again, it is a team game after all, so everybody needs to get their credits where they are due. But you know what? That is only the first round, Fu, and we've already had one Game 3 situation today. May we be blessed with another one, perhaps?
I hope so. I love watching as many competitive plays as possible, but I think it's time for the highlights of that game.
I agree. Let's go. All right, here are the highlights, Fu. We can see this was, I believe, the first Reg Ice to be taken down. It did obviously go down to the side of Ghost Sleeper with the Venusaur. And, I don't know, it provided that experience, but it wasn't enough, was it? As you just see the comeback here from Eichland.
Yeah, so Eichland is definitely known to be so strong early game. Even if they have lost that first objective, they're able to keep their goal zones, you know, pretty much, there was no chance for Ghost Sleep to even try to go and score. There was no time for a nap, you could say, for Eichland. They are ready, they're awake, they want to win this match.
Well, you're talking about goal zones there. I believe none of the goal zones ended up even going down on the side of Eichland. They just put up such a great defense there throughout the whole entirety of the match.
Yeah, absolutely, and you have to say as well, look at this Rayquaza fight here. Slowbro doing so well just to stun lock so many members of Ghost Sleep there. There's just, it's a tough ask, you know, for Ghost Sleep. How can they even access to take down the Ninetales or take down that Dodrio, which, when there was a Blastoise spinning your way, or when there's stun locks from the Freeze from the Blizzard and Avalanche moveset, it's just so hard.
Oh no, it was definitely a hard ask indeed. But as we have mentioned, it's not over for Go Sleep, and it's definitely not over for Iclin yet either. Like this match, they do need to win it. Otherwise, they might get sent to round 3 and possibly have the potential of going home and losing out on that spot.
Yeah, this is definitely a very important match. Arguably the most important match of their day today. Iclin, if they do win this match, they will be progressing and hopefully having a shot at the losers finals and maybe even making a redemption run. Meanwhile, Go Sleep, I don't think they want their day to be over yet, Kello. I think they still want a piece in this championship.
No, they don't want this day to be over, and we don't want this day to be over, right? But as these teams are gearing up and getting ready for their second match, I guess, do you have any potential predictions of moving on forward for the possible picks or bans we might see through?
I have an idea for Go Sleep, actually. If they're having trouble maybe rotating or to try to get some scores in, perhaps bringing a Hooper, which we've seen has been a popular pick in the OC region. Perhaps, I hope they're not listening, or I hope they are. Putting that Hooper in that team maybe can help assist in getting to those objectives early or getting to score when the other team, for example, Iclin, is on the other side of the map.
Yeah, so I guess that's if it doesn't end up getting banned. But I guess the thing is as well, if they do have a Hooper, you would know that Iclin would end up going in very aggressive, trying to take down those goals so they cannot take that bus up and down into those lanes there. But also, while those lanes might end up getting destroyed, you still have that giant rings unbound to just teleport and gather that team together. Whether they end up taking our advice, online, in the end, we have the easy job here. We don't actually have to play the game through.
Yeah, we're just watching, we're just spectating the hindsight 2020 that we provide here. But I'm sure it's a whole different story down there in the battlefield of the Sky Ruins. They're knowledgeable. They've been playing this game for a long time now, Gallo. It's not their first rodeo. I'm sure both teams are all just deciding, how can we counter this? What happens if I do this? I would not want to be where they are in terms of what they're thinking right now. It seems too complicated for me.
I think that's a really good point. It's not their first rodeo. We did see Iclin go to Worlds last year, and we know that they definitely want to go to Yokohama to Worlds once again. However, for Go Sleep, now they are one of the newer teams to appear this year. I know that they are obviously a group of friends. I feel like they had some changes here and there throughout the season, but we know that they have been practicing really, really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure all these teams have knuckled down in this final week looking to make their mark on this regional championship today. And I'm just so excited because every game brings a different dynamic. It's so easy to change rosters up, to ban different Pokemon. I think having a draft phase in this game really shows that there are just infinite amount of permutations you can have for each team.
Well, that's only the beginning. The peak ban draft phase, yes, it is so important to make sure that you lock down those Pokemon that you need for your side. But I think it's also the ability to counterplay your opponents as well as you go through this phase.
Yeah, that's a great point. Counterplay is a very important aspect in any team trying to take down Titans, in this case. Iclin is such a strong team. Time and time again, they know how good they are. But Go Sleep still having a chance here. They're looking to ban Slowbro.
Look, Friff did get the MVP in that last match after all, so we can definitely see what a strong defender Slowbro is. You just do not want to come against it. Another one that you probably don't want to come against is that Lapras getting locked in first.
Yeah, it's one or the other, isn't it, Kello? It's either Slowbro or Lapras. There's no changes here for Go Sleep. And we've got a Blastoise yet again, and a Alolan Ninetales on the side of Iclin there. Ninetales just, I think it's... Yeah, I want to look at the statistics at the end of the day, Kello. It seems like it's been picked up in almost every game that we've casted.
I must say it's really actually refreshing seeing Ninetales being picked up. I know it was forgotten a fair bit in the past metas and everything, but I think it's just the recent buff that it has received for Blizzard has really done it wonders.
Yeah, of course. And Obviously, Mew is another great pick for Ghost Sleep here. Looks like if they can't get all the Ninetales or another, perhaps Espeon here, they've chosen to go Mew, which can, kind of get away from Pokemon such as Blastoise that's spinning your way, or a Dodrio, Joe, back on that Dodrio that can just run into the back line and then drill peck you to, be out of the playing field.
Look, I must say it's really interesting that iClan, they have decided to stick with the same roster here. Obviously, they do no longer have the Slowbro, so it'll be interesting to see what they end up replacing it with. Possibly a Mr. Mime here. I believe there will be some switch-ups. We'll have Untamed on the Blastoise like they were last time. I'll be interested to see where this Mr. Mime goes. I feel like this is another supporter we don't really see very often in the OC region. I know it's quite popular with certain teams in the EU region, so it'll be interesting to see whether Frith will be able to live up to that.
Yeah, speaking of Pokemons we don't actually see too often, that's a Cinderace on the side of Ghost Sleep here. Hugo opting to go for the Cinderace, which is, a lot of damage from the backline, but they are very squishy being an attacker. So I guess it's just up to Manny and Smurfette to try to protect the President here. They need to protect 1-2 and Hugo in order for them to win those team engagements and stop that Dodrio from taking them out.
No, for sure. It's definitely going to have to use their maneuverabilities to try and get away from the Dodrio. It does have that rapid fire scarf on hand, but we'll have to wait and see what they're able to do with it. It is going to be the second match for Ghost Sleep versus iClan. If iClan do take this win, it does mean Ghost Sleep are going to be knocked out for today, and for good.
Yeah, for good indeed. There is definitely pressure on both teams here. And I think, I don't want to be biased, but I do want to see a third game scenario here, Kello. I'm all for competitive matches here. And as this game goes on, it looks like we've got two defenders up on top here, Kello. We've got Lapras and a Snorlax. Meanwhile, a Gossifleur and a Mew will be heading down to the bottom path here. So a big change up, I think. I don't think I've ever seen this today.
No, you want to get that Lapras online, get it to level 5 with the Water Pulse ASAP, especially with Manny having that experience there. You can see that it wants to give all the experience to it. I must say it's interesting Manny did decide to go into the top lane this round instead of going in for the invade like he did previously.
Yeah, I think Ghost Sleep is looking to just change it up. They can't be too predictable here. And it might pay off here with Lapras about to hit that level 5 very, very soon as well. Looks like Mew is looking to secure at the bottom. Here comes the Reboot, looking to apply some pressure up top. Now, Cinderace as a Pokemon, they do need to reach that level 7, level 8, and even level 9 to unlock their Blazing Bicycle Kick Unite move to really do a lot for the team here. So they definitely need to play a little bit safer in that early game stage.
No, you know who's not playing safe right now? This Dodrio, as it tries to drill peck in the backline. It ended up missing and not securing any of those worms.
But what a message though. That's very scary to see a Dodrio coming your way, and here comes a lot of pressure in that top half here, and that's going to be a successful knockout on the Chansey. But Joe says, I'm here to help. Manny, don't stop sleeping. I'm here to take you out. And look at that. I think it's just like a great pick for Ghost Sleep here, right? Yes, they're being drill pecked. Yes, the Chansey was knocked out. But look at the Lapras, still very much in play with, enough HP to stay in the field here. And Snorlax, all he needs to do is just take an afternoon nap and bam, he's ready to go again.
Yes, the ability to just sustain that drill peck and make it back to pad, get some HP back and not getting taken down is insane. But we do have Mr. Mime getting taken down by a hit of that Eldegoss there. The birds have spawned in that central area, and it looks like these are all going to go to the side of Ghost Sleep as there's nobody from iClan in sight.
Yeah, this is definitely a reverse of what happened last game. Ghost Sleep is doing very well to make sure that they get the dunks in, to make sure that maybe any stacks they can put in, and also, not only getting scores on the board, but also getting their central laner up in that levels as soon as possible here. Another little engagement on top, but both teams playing quite safe. They're waiting for the Altarios and Swablu's experience from that wall Pokemon to start up here. Look at that big beam coming out from Mew, taking out a lot of those Swablu's, and Eldegoss and Mew looking to just push in. Cinderace maybe a little bit too forward here, but perhaps they can knock out this Mr. Mime, which is a little bit out of position.
Did you just see that beautiful timing of the feint from Gilgore there to avoid the Blizzard and Avalanche from the Ninetales? It was... Yeah, like the timing was impeccable. Now they are obviously still here. We have a basement Reggie that has spawned as well. Members are funneling on through to make sure to try and secure this, possibly. Reggie steal as they leash it towards their side. Mr. Mime possibly going in for a steal. Can they do it? But no. Mew locks it down for the side of Ghostly.
Yeah, too hard of an ask for Thrift there on the Mr. Mime, trying to see whether they can secure that. But I don't think Icon really wanted anyone to contest that. Look at Joe. He's in the central area of Ghost Sleep right now. Water is up top, still trying to evolve to Blastoise. And it looks like we're going to have the bottom goal zone broken by the Lapras here on the side of Ghost Sleep, which means for once they have the points lead, Kello.
I feel like this is a complete reverse card from the side of Ghost League. They were shut down very early in the previous match, but they are showing that they do not want to go home today. We do have some little dunks coming in from Manny here, just trying to chip away at their goal as much as possible. War Turtle is in a little bit of a pickle, was able to yoink a berry, but the blazing bicycle kick to try and take it down. Thankfully, it did miss, and Untamed, the G, is still up and running.
Oh my god, Ghosted could be in a little bit of trouble here. Look at that Eldegoss saving Cinderace there, keeping them in the playing field, and that's going to do so much damage. Mew getting a KO streak of 2. Look at the Snorlax just pushing everyone out. Triple travel comes up from Joe though. He needs to make a difference here to try to take down that Mew before it takes down the entire team. Cinderace Blaze Kick stuns them. Look at that combo attack there with the Surf from Mew as well.
I must say that Ghost Sleep are definitely doing such a fabulous job of protecting their president, which is this Cinderace. It is just dishing out so much damage right now, especially paired up with that Mew. Look, the ability to take down 2 objectives this far, I must say, Ghost Sleep are looking quite good right now.
They're definitely looking very strong. They definitely have a level lead as well. We have a level 11 Cinderace on the side of them. And Lapras Express trying to get out from the dual preg. Look at that. We think Dojo is probably one of the fastest Pokemon in this game. But Lapras Express is showing us the complete opposite here. Getting out of that fight and coming straight back for this Blissey. Oh my god. Can Puffs get out of here?
Run, Puffs, run! They try and get some protection from this Ninetales, throwing out those Blizzards to just zone them away. But all the meantime, while they were running away, Red Ice has spawned and given, once again, another objective to the side of Ghost Sleep.
Oh my god, Blissey just trying to save, sacrificing themselves for the Mr. Mime here. Mr. Mime in the grip of it. Oh my god, the feint! Cinderace so good with the feint, but will get knocked out as well. That was a good trade, but I think, Kello, as you mentioned before, feint attack is such a good moveset choice by the Cinderace here to completely avoid that snow globe coming out from the Alolan Ninetales.
Yes, they are using their timing of it really, really well there. We can see that both of those bases for Icon have been taken down. I mentioned it's kind of a flip of the script because all of the bases on Ghost Sleep are up right now.
Yeah, it seems like Ghost Sleep is using Icon's strategy against themselves here, stopping anyone from trying to score in either of the paths here. Big engagement coming out, and that is going to be a massive knockout of the Snorlax here. And look at that, with Puffs looking to put in that 11, and the rest of Icon is just converging on the top half into the side of Ghost Sleep here. And that's going to make sure that they break that goal zone and get some points on the board. And the gap is only 60 points now. What a turn of events.
No way that Ninetales ended up getting a 50 dunk in that top half. You know what? Icon are like, you're trying to copy us? No, mate. We are the ones that are running this show. 238 to 169. They still have a fair bit to catch on up. But with a Regieleki on their side, that is going to cause a little bit of a disruption for them as they go and farm up these wild Pokemons that have spawned.
Yeah, they definitely want to take this time to take out any wild Pokemons left on their side, or maybe even poke at the wild Pokemons on the side of Ghost Sleep here. Now, with 30 seconds left for the final stretch, these teams are more or less neck and neck now. I think Icon did an amazing job to come back from this because the bulk of the 6-7 minutes of this game, it has been the show of Ghost Sleep. But now Icon's saying, hey, I want to progress here. I'm not going home. I want to win this game.
Hey, indeed. We will have to wait and see whether they can possibly lock this down, secure themselves a spot in that losers bracket there to continue on. But here we go, Fu. We do have the final stretch. Spinstoise is trying to spin to win as they zone out. That's not like, but he is back trying to get those picks, getting that heavy slam timed precisely to possibly get a pick.
Yeah, Mr. Mime getting chunked down at the start here. And look at Joe looking to maybe have a back cap in the top path of Go Sleep. But look at that. I just looked away and Blissey has just healed up the entire HP bar of Mr. Mime. So they're back healthy and ready to go. Look at this. Joe might get caught out on the top, but Spinstoise is at the bottom here, looking to just bend away and make space for their team to defend this goal. I don't think either team actually knows who is ahead. Even though they might have gotten some scores in the top half, it is still anyone's game here in that final stretch.
No, anyone's game indeed, as it's only 3 points difference, but the Dodrio ends up getting caught out by Manny's block there. It did try to get past, but the fight has ensued. We'll see what is going to happen. So Slope does end up getting popped out, but he isn't catching anybody. All members are still up for the side of iClaim. The 3 members of Go Sleep are down, and we do have Lapras getting knocked out as well. It's only the Mew left. Now we know that Mew has the potential for a steal here, but you can see they are just getting pressured by Joe, and they end up getting team wiped.
Yeah, Joe doing so well with that chaos field 3. And look at that. With a commanding fight there, taking out the Cinderace early, iClan have just earned their spot in the next round of the losers bracket.
Yes, they have. Look, they may have had a rocky beginning there, but I guess they ended up gathering their resources together, seeing what they can do. I think the fact that Joe definitely deserves that MVP there, obviously dunking in 187 points, it just goes to show the power of this triple-headed bird, because it ended up getting that back half of 100, making it only a 3-point difference. And then to come back in and pretty much just team wipe Go Sleep there was insane.
Yeah, Joe, 3 heads are better than 1, as they say. And not only, like you said, they dunked up, they scored during that fight, they also managed to win that fight for Team iCloud here as well. Looking at the graph again, you can see a very, very solid lead coming out from Go Sleep. They did very well here. This is an entire flip of the last game in the first 8 minutes, but then iCloud showing us they have the experience, they were patient, they were resilient, and time again, resilient pays off. Can't even English anymore. And look at that, with that final score at the end, that's going to bring iClan back in the fight, and they will win with a 100 gap.
Well, they do say good things come to those who wait. And I think iClan, they did wait. They waited for their moments, their opportunities, those openings, and they played them so well. The fact that they just put up the defenses 4 versus 5 and held out for so long for Joe to getting those dunks and then come back in. But we have to say, we have talked about this Lapras. The fact that it did the top damage dealt on the side of Go Sleep, even though it's a defender, excuse me, Fu?
Yeah, excuse me, indeed. I'm honestly part of the Lapras fan club now. I understand why it's been picked up so much. And I really honestly had a lot of hope for the draft that Go Sleep has put up against Icon here. I really like the fact that they had an XP share, Snorlax with a Lapras up top, trying to get them online as well with a Cinderace and a Mew. However, Icon was just very strong towards the end.
They were definitely very strong indeed, and you can see that they do not want to give up just yet. They have that momentum going, but the thing is, are they going to be able to keep up the momentum and keep up that drive?
Yeah, keep up the drive. It's a tough question, isn't it? But I'm happy to say that, you know, even though Go Sleep was knocked out, they did amazing today. Yes, they were knocked out in the winners, but in the losers, they showed us it's not over for them. They did manage to take down Degen over time, giving them as much of a shot as possible in making into the finals or regionals.
I think
it's just too strong.
I think it's important to mention as well, these players, they have actually had quite a long day so far. They had their group stages first, which did start at 11 a.m. So the fact that they have pretty much been going for, 5 hours now? the fatigue would be starting to set in.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's have a look at the highlights though, because I want to re-watch some of the best moments of last game.
Yes, I agree. Here we go. We do have some moments earlier on. You can see the aggression that Ghostleap were doing with the Raboot. Ended up getting taken down though. They were able to get in some dunks.
Yeah, absolutely. But Joe, so good with the dojo. And we can see, I think time and time again, even though Ghostleap played really well all throughout the game, they were able to put a lot of pressure on the side of Iceland there. But, with those dunks at the bottom, at the end of the day, Iceland stayed resilient together. They worked together as a team to make that comeback at the end.
Yes, they definitely worked together as a team to just distract Ghostleap, as Joe just kind of did his thing in the backline as a do trio, wouldn't you say? But you can see, once again, as I said, just the pressure that Ghostleap were applying to Iceland. I feel like a lot of those Iceland fans would have been shivering in their boots, not sure whether they would have been able to make a catch-up.
And that's what you like to see, in matchups like this. We want to see both teams putting up the best that they can, and they definitely did, especially on the side of Ghostleap as well. And the Cinderace, I just have to shout out the Cinderace. We don't really see the Feint moveset used as much as we should. Flame Charge is normally the moveset that most people prefer, but you can see in this game, it was just so smart because it got them out of tight situations. They received no damage from Unite moves. It was just incredible to watch from the side of Ghostleap.
Yeah, while they were able to get out of tight situations, unfortunately, they weren't able to get out of the tight situation that was the final stretch. You can see them, the Unite moves being popped on out, and it ended up resulting in a complete team wipe.
Yeah, team wipe indeed there, and Iceland, you can see they were quite low in terms of HP at some points of the game, but they managed to stay in the playing field. Look at that, Snorlax trying to knock up the A9, but they managed to get out of the fight. Team wipe, and Rayquaza is theirs.
Yeah, I feel like there is just a lot of suppression movements in matches these days. That is really what you rely on in these matches. The ability to just lock down those opponents and allow your damage dealies to get those hits. But, Fu, we have obviously had the other teams play on through these matches. Let's see where the brackets are at now.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Let's see how well the other teams played as well. So it looks like in the losers quarters, the other match was Zenith against Heart Hackers, with Zenith taking a commanding 2-0 over them. So they will be going up against Iceland in the losers semis. Meanwhile, in the winners bracket, it looks like it's going to be between EXO and Legends Reappear. So they've both managed to make into that winners finals.
Yes, that is going to be a very exciting match to watch. But next up, we will be looking at Iceland versus Zenith. And I believe Perma and Nuggy will be bringing you this match as well for the losers semis.
Yep, so Iceland and Zenith, a match I really anticipating to watch, because that's two, I guess, very strong teams, right? Iceland being that titan, being that team that has that experience, having gone to Worlds last year. But Zenith, they want to win. They want to make another upset. They saw LDR take down Iceland before. Maybe the dream lives for them as well.
Well, that's the thing. Zenith, they want to overthrow Iceland. We have mentioned earlier on the fact that Iceland, they are sitting in that second spot on the leaderboard. If Zenith are able to defeat Iceland and possibly make it on through, they might be able to secure themselves that second spot for Worlds, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wants that ticket to go to Yokohama.
They definitely do. But for now, we will gonna have to sit tight, as we are going to take a quick break and bring you back with Perma and Nuggy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Perma, my god, what a match that was. iClan staying alive and securing themselves to the next round, while unfortunately, Go Sleep will probably go to sleep after this. So,
Yes,
what did you think, my man?
Yeah, we gotta say night-night, unfortunately, to some of the lovely lads and go sleep a bit earlier than we expected. It is still the afternoon, so maybe they're just gonna go for a nap, but I think very important to talk about what Kilo mentioned, right? It is a bit of a slog of a day, right? They've already been playing groups prior to this, and they still have some matches coming up. So this is more likely gonna affect iClan. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Go Sleep, but that's how the nature of the competition goes. It's ruthless, and everyone's fighting for that Yokohama shot. So iClan, they hang on for now, but man, it's starting to get a little dicey. They could just get knocked out at every stage.
They've got a mountain to climb, but you know what? In terms of tenacity, they've kind of been through this ringer before, you know, going to Worlds, to London, to just sit through that. They've been in that loser's bracket. They know how long they must play to carry on. They need to keep their wits about them and just be as consistent, you know. A lot of the times when they lost, it was a bit of bad luck. But when they are on, you know, when they are on, they are definitely on. So hopefully they can carry this through, because the next match that we are going to see is an absolute stunner. We are going to see Team Zenith, one of the dark horses of OC region, going up against iClan.
Nuggy, I don't know if you I don't know if you know about this organization, but have you heard of Ground Zero?
I have. This is really a beauty of a story, ladies and gents. Ground Zero. Look, a lot of the members from Team Zenith were formerly from Ground Zero. To add upon that, Joe was also part of Ground Zero. So, you know, and the funny thing is, these two battled it out for that spot in London. So this is kind of like a reverse sweep, you know, to see each other again in this situation. And to, you know what, let me add another one. Shaker was actually the substitute for iClan for last year. So this is insane that we're going to be casting this type of scenario. You can't script this. They got themselves here, and I'm just speechless, Perma, but I won't be for long.
Yeah, I mean, you put it perfectly, right? The layers upon layers, and that's one of the beauties of this region. It is a relatively smaller region, but that means there's so much history and intertwined kind of, you know, fates. Here, iClan, they are the ones who shut out Ground Zero back then, just back 1 year ago, and sent them home, left them in OC while they went to just, you know, take a tour in London, right? And now we're seeing it. It's not even the winners fight. It's not even the finals. We're in losers semis here. We're not even there. And both these titans, or at least players who have been part of these ginormous, you know, lineups, are here facing off.
Yeah, and you know what? Looking at these bans are perfectly valid. We do know that Bro has been a menace since the start, and taking that away from Frith is very, very good. But Frith picking up that Lapras, however, getting rid of that Hooper, we know that Don is an absolute machine of a support for Team Zenith. So taking that away, this is a good ban for both teams.
Absolutely here. Already no surprises. 100% pick rate on stream, I think, is this Alola Ninetales going to be snagged up by Shaker. We've already seen him play a very beastly Mew, but Shep as well. It's all within their wheelhouse, right? Both these attacker players like to kind of, you know, dance on the same few Pokemon. If it's not these, then maybe it's a Chandelier. But Puff's actually going to snag that Dojo up for his team. So not one that we saw in our match thus far, but we saw how they used it just now on Joe.
Yeah, and this will be interesting to see if they're going to try and deny that Dodrio with perhaps a Clefable. But, I mean, looking at that, we have the Blissey and a Zoroark coming in. So, not just Urshifu, but Zoroark as well. Both Pokemon of which our boy Anon is very familiar with. And, yeah, as we thought, you know, if it ain't an Eldegoss, it's not going to be, you know, we need Puffs to be on it. We're going to see if he's going to be able to do some magical things with that Pokemon. And Untamed, you know, they're picking their safe picks right now. This is a brutal force for Team iClan, and they are going to go up against a powerhouse, a team that is Zenith. So very interested to see that Trevenant. We haven't really seen too much in terms of going one defender going up against two. So I'm going to be interested to see what Jurak is going to be able to do to just control that suppression against units like Dodrio.
Yeah, very balanced lineups on both sides here. Zenith packing a bit of a punch with that Suluru Urshifu. But iClan, like you said, going for that dastardly double defender. With those two watery boys, they're definitely looking at just hosing the rest of Zenith down, not letting them have any sort of chance. Now, Dawn is a very, very strong Blissey here though, so I'm quite excited to see what he can do, especially since Blissey really capitalizes on single target, support, right? Trying to help this Urshifu, trying to help the Zoroark, and yeah, Nagi, it seems like my pin summoning worked.
Yeah, you're very good at that. Great job on the Zoroark pin. Well done, sir, because you know what? We saw Anon in the earlier match really just kind of be like that solo top path, just going against so many members, and he was Zoroark, and he made a huge impact just creating that pressure that was needed. We've seen that Team Zenith only needed the 4 members to do the rest of the objectives, while Anon did everything else himself in the different paths. So we're going to wait and see if that's going to be a repeat, but going up against a Titan, as we talked about, like Iclen, that may be a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Zenith being these dark horses, but it's really just because they haven't been as prominent compared to EXO Clan, for instance, or some of these other teams. But I mean, Zenith, these are the very names I was casting 1 year ago.
Yeah,
these guys definitely know their stuff, but it can't be understated that Iclen, you can kind of see the experience they gained from London. There's a different type of grit about them. There's a different type of tenacity about them that they bring to these games now and bring back to the region. And it's something Zenith are going to have to overcome.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? This is a very interesting match. It could be even a special match because there's just so much history with these two teams. And the fact that we get to watch them as not just broadcasters, but viewers as well, this is special. This is something that should be more of like a grand final kind of situation. But these guys are unfortunately battling it out for the losers.
Yeah, the only thing being finalized right now is this unfortunate Phantom being KO'd. A nice rotation here from Joe to come down and grab those 2 free pickups. An interesting sort of situation here. So normally we see Joe play up that top path, but they've had a bit of a switch, right? Similar to the previous series where Untamed is going to be the one piloting the Blastoise, but Joe is going to have the impact Pokemon on that Dodrio. Coming up to the top side, dashing forward, slight swing and a miss on that drill pack. Just a drive-by situation.
You know what? Nice awareness there by the Urshifu, just anticipating that drill peck, dashing away just in time. But Joe hasn't stopped yet. Anon in a lot of trouble. We normally not see Zoroark in trouble. Does get knocked out by the Elder Gods.
Yeah, and Dawn was just backing up to try and get a Citrus Berry stay top off. So a bit of miscommunication there, maybe a slight disconnect in that moment, and Iclen pounce on it and capitalize. So Zenith, they're definitely not looking too hot in this early stage, especially since Jurak, he's still stuck at that Phantom stage and he's not even getting EXP, he's just rotating.
Yeah, he's really stuck right now as a Phantom. You can see in the central there is a bit of a kerfuffle there. Dodrio getting out on time. Anon trying to save his hide. Urshifu trying to be that cover. But that beam to the drill peck on the Urshifu was all that sealed the deal. Anon trying to be shifty there with the feint attack. Just trying to get out of harm's way. Maybe he's able to get out. He's trying to get close to the Blissey. Blissey does manage to save him. So well done to Don for keeping that Zoroark alive.
Wow, drill packs coming through. Looking like Woody the Woodpecker, the way he's getting them with them beaks, pulling him out of the safety of the goal zone, and the 2 Citrus Berries already snagged up by Anon means that this top side is under some more threat. The jump through, the pack back, the setup is perfect. Iclen, they are just delivering KOs on a platter right now.
Yeah, and you know what, Perma, I don't normally talk about this early, but the fact that the score pad is at 157 to 14 before any of the Reggies have popped up, that is insane. That is a significant lead at such an early stage of the game.
Yeah, and we've seen Dodrios in other regions just absolutely run away with the game. You can't let this Pokemon get momentum. You need to find a way to lock him down. That Wood Hammer might be a crucial part of that, but right now it seems like Zenith, they can't really find an opening to enter this fight. The Shaker, a loner Ninetales, has to back up and can't actually use their moves in a meaningful way. This is going to be a huge clash, Navi.
Yeah, this is a 4-on-4 situation. They're still fighting alongside there, leaving the Reggie still to themselves. We do see that Iclen is now moving towards there, but look at the fight right now. There goes the Trio Unite going on, getting rid of the Ninetales so well there, and still pushing on the attack. Iclen members giving that support to that Dodrio, pushing upon the tier 1 pad of Team Zenith. Mirage is up on foot right now, trying to protect the teammates. There goes the rapid spin. Trevenant going down. We have a Blastoise now, and it looks like Iclen. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Unfortunate for Zoroark with that's probably the first KO by a wild Pokemon we've seen of the day.
Oh no, things just falling apart on the side of Zenith. They were meant to climb up the mountain and punch the Titans, but instead they're just getting hammered and winded on the first few steps. The Zoroark, Anon, feeling the pressure, trying to make a miracle happen, getting the Regieleki so they can at least trade even, just presents it on a platter now for iClan to come back up and take. That team fight just went horrifically wrong with the Dojo Joe putting the dancing shoes on and the Unite move. Anon, he's fumbling. He's trying to get out of there. The slides, the cut, it'll get him out to safety, but there's so much being used, and the drill pack through. This is looking disastrous. Hydro Typhoon pumps them up. They're trying to go on to this Lapras, but the Express coming through. The stuff is up, and Untamed, he's just going ham right now. Even Fist manages to take out the Mew. That's 1 KO. Side swing and a miss again with the drill pack, but it doesn't even matter. Only so much that Don can do, and Zenith, what is going on, baby?
Oh, but look, this is what happens when, you know, I think it's history. It's dredged up memories. You know, iClan made it to Worlds last year. Maybe this is kind of a repeat. I mean, we've never seen a non this flustered thus far throughout the match. You know, he's been able to do relatively well. But like we said, going up against a well-oiled machine, a Titan team like iClan, something is going to change. And we are seeing that firsthand right now. Phantom Forest being put up right there by Jurak. But the drill pack from Dodrio getting that 2 KO along with Lapras's help. What is Zenith going to do? Because they are just getting manhandled here in the bottom lane.
I mean, iClan must have been messing around earlier on because they kept this Joe Dodrio holstered, finally bringing out the big guns. This guy is absolutely destroying his opponents. Fast and Furious, call him Dominic Toretto, the way he's just dancing on them and driving by. I mean, this guy is on fire, and Zenith, they just can't find any lick to stand on.
No, right now, not right now. We see that, you know, you wanted a show from the Dodrio Joe. He is putting on a show. He is scoring a 50 cap there in the top pad. They are leaving the rest to iClan for the bottom, whatever remains. 5 members for the first time now on the bottom objectives. Urshifu getting that Regirock. Very, very important. Ninetales getting rid of that Lapras. You can see the Rapids boys going in there as a defensive maneuver. Curry Puff's trying to get as much support as possible, but now it looks like it's a little bit overwhelming. Bliss assist on the Trevenant. Maybe a little bit premature, and look at Suluwu getting caught out by the Mew. Oh no, Zenith has maybe stayed a little bit too long because Zoroark goes down as well.
Yeah, they're trying to get a KO onto this Mew, but Lapras Express, not the one you wanted to find. You wanted my Mew, I'll give him to you, says Swift, and just sends the rest of Zenith packing. And even though they did manage to get their objective, it doesn't even matter. They're just taking casualty after casualty. And Suluwu might be next on the chopping block, manages to run away. But this entire map, it's in iClan's hands. They're just playing around with their opponents right now.
Yeah, look, this is what we've seen a few times before. You know, with a minute to go before Rayquaza pops up, iClan has a tremendous lead. Dodrio or level 14, Blastoise at 13. They are really, really strong right now. But we've seen some incredible things happen at this point. But so in order for Zenith to be able to get back into the game, they just need to reset their minds just for another 2.5 minutes. You know, they just need to find their pacing. Otherwise, this will go to iClan.
Yeah, Nuggy, maybe we should just kind of calm down a little bit with them. We know this is a very, very, you know, tense situation. I think tensions are definitely rising high. Who better to take you out of the running than your own ex-teammate? All of these teams, they must be feeling the pressure. And you can tell with every inch that they try and get on the map, there's just so much instant, just kind of pushback, a visceral almost reaction. As we get to this final stretch, this is going to decide everything.
Yeah, you can see Jurak getting a little caught here, does try to get out, beamed up. They are trying to commit onto that Trevenant. Zenith really retreating there. They need to. They just can't stand against that firepower. But the Mew actually hitting every single solar beam there is to offer. And now Zenith has to fall back. They're just getting too manhandled. And again, Shep manages to take out that Aselgor, tilling it away from Zenith. This is looking dangerous, but we have been in this position before.
Yeah.
Just needs to make sure they do not overstep their boundaries here.
This is not a position you want to be in if you're Zenith, though. He's just going beam after beam, just like a gymnast Shep, bouncing around, and he's not letting any of them have any room whatsoever. You gotta find and engage. You can't keep getting just chopped down like this, and you're behind right now. You're gonna get a reminder in around 18 seconds. You need to find an avenue, and Suluwu, he might have just rocked up to the wrong alley. Going against the wall, trying to wind up that fist. They know he's in there, but they can't get anything. Dawn is there. there, and he's just kind of dancing around. Oh, he's found the back line. This could be a huge one. Mystical Mirage forced out. There's the fight. But take a look at Blastoise. He's on the top side. He needs to make a decision. But right now, Bliss Assistance called 0-0-0 with the way the assistance coming in. This is actually a good start with the path going down. That's been a thorn in their side. Like you said, triple trample. Joe is here to play, and the packs are out.
Oh my God.
Still keeping sustained up, but Snow Globe ices them down. Frith still sustained, but manages to take down the Alolan Ninetales. Hydro Typhoon as well, up against Zulumu. He's still punching away, but the beats again!
Wow,
Joe
the
finds
drill!
them all! Perfectly
Oh
played,
my
and it's
God,
just
the
a
drill!
Joe. 3 KOs, make it a 4, sub bottom,
KOs!
send them packing back down where they belong, Iceland. They're gonna get these times off.
Goodness. What an absolute team wipe. Dodrio, if you did not notice Perma, he was waiting in the bushes. He was just spinning, getting that charge up, waiting for the time for Zenith to be forced to make their move. They did make their move with Urshifu and the Bliss with the Bliss assistance. But at the end of the day, the Dodrio came up, united in Drill Peck, and cleaned house. And what an absolute stellar performance. And the fact that this is just the first round is incredible.
Oh my goodness, where was this Dojo? Why haven't you guys been picking? This is absolute domination. This guy is the bird boss right now, Joe. Where was this? I mean, we've seen Joe absolutely pop off, and I know as soon as everyone saw, okay, Joe's in iClan now, let's see what he can do, right? We were talking about it as well. We said, okay, this is the individual they brought in to replace Pingu. You know, Pingu has been their bread and butter stable, you know, teammate for so long. Now he's sitting on the sidelines, and Joe absolutely delivers. I mean, you take a look at this graph, iClan, they just have managed to sort of meander out advantage at the early stage, and even at the 6-minute mark, we were talking about it already. It's like, it's already at 180, you know, it's 100-point difference, yes, but iClan, the momentum that they're playing this game on the back of Joe is just way too quick.
Yeah, fantastic team fight. And you know what? If there was ever any doubt on why Joe should or should not be on iClan, this just proved it. Well-deserved MVP, over 100,000 damage from a bird. I don't think we've seen that in the game, 100k damage from this Pokemon. So the fact that he did that shows how much he was involved in these team fights, how essential he was to kind of close that gap and get that finish. So
and this isn't an easy. This isn't an easy Pokemon to play. You're playing the kick, you're playing the jump kick and the drill pack. Your position needs to be pinpoint perfect. It's not like the tri-attack where you can just poke away from afar. You know, to be so involved and do so much damage, that is a huge mark. And all I gotta say is, Joe haters, Joe doubters, where you at? Where you at? The boy is back. You know, he's bringing the heat.
It was such an amazing thing to watch, and it was nothing. It was just, you could feel, I felt like you could feel Zenith's pressure, you know? They weren't on top of the game like the other games we saw before. And the fact Anon, you know what, I'm looking forward to seeing the highlights. I wonder if they're going to see that catch of Anon falling down, because that was a huge turn. That's, you know, let's have a look at the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, more than anything, Kilo talked about the fatigue. I mean, that's definitely got to play a part, and especially when something like that happens, you can't help but feel like you don't want to, and I'm sure your teammates are reassuring you, but you can't help but feel a little bit of a sinking feeling in your stomach, like, man, how can I let this happen? Like this, I'm trying to go to represent OC at Worlds, like, I can't be playing like this, and I mean, you gotta feel for it. Does happen, but you know, here you gotta be kicking yourself. I mean, Zenith, I think throughout this game, they just, I don't know whether they gave enough respect.
This is it. Oh my God. That was the moment that just shook everything, Perma. That part right there, that must have been the morale decline from Team Zenith. And you know what? From then on out, you could see how lethal this Dodrio is going in all around the map. And just when you thought all was, you know, there was hope left, this Dodrio goes in with a 4 KO in the final battle just before they take that Rayquaza. An absolute powerhouse showing what a bird can do.
Yeah, so, and I do have to say, one of the things I remember about Ground Zero now, please, I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but I think even in the final moments up against iClan just last year, it did feel like they let the pressure get to them, right? There were some moments where it felt like, okay, you know, you guys are faltering here, but we've seen you guys play, especially a player like Slumu, Don. These guys are superstars of the region,
They're,
right?
they're
But
great.
they're great,
absolutely
but then
wonderful.
there are just these moments where it feels like they're getting choked up. They're getting, they suddenly, they're at a bit of a loss as to, okay, how do we respond to this situation? And it's in these razor thin moments that it feels like Joe and the gang at iClan just snap them up and don't come back with the lead that they've grabbed. And I mean Zenith, they're really going to have to hold on to their horses. They're really going to have to keep it together and really punch back if they want to survive here in the regional playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, look, do not count Zenith out. We've seen miracle things happen before, especially with LDR. They went back to the drawing board and they've gained a lot of mental strength. It just takes that one kind of moment to just reset your brain.
Absolutely.
Because Team Zenith does have what it takes. They are absolutely talented players. Do not count them out. They will use this as fuel to try and stay in, because this is their sink or swim moment. They need to stay swimming, because if they don't, we're going to say goodbye to them and iClan will advance. But geez, we are, Perma, we've been treated so well, my man.
This is a treat. There's no way. Come on. This is crazy. When everyone was hyped for OC and everyone knew the quality of games was going to be immense, but we are just getting spoiled like babies with candy, right? Like, I feel like every single match so far has just been an absolute hit. I think when it comes to Zenith, the titular player that I always think about is Sulu, right? This guy has been in the scene since the very start. He's always made a name for himself as this guy where, if you give him the resources, if you funnel everything into him, he can be that carry for you and take you the distance. It's just some moments where, it might not necessarily pan out that way. I particularly remember, specific slight bouts of, I won't call it stubbornness, but he has the stuff that he likes and he sticks to it, and it might not necessarily always work out. But if there's any time to bring out some of the classics, it might be right now.
Oh, we'll wait and see. Well, you know what? It looks like they are ready for round 2. So hopefully they've reset their wires. They are going to get ready for round 2. We are going to have a look at what Zenith is thinking of banning. Now, we do see a multitude of options here, but you know what? I mean, if we just go by last match, I think that Dodrio was a good pick. But, this is going to be interesting if they are hovering over a Machamp. I never thought that a Machamp would be banned.
What?
That is so mind-blowing.
Nah, that's a big screw you, Joe.
That's a big respect ban. That is a big respect ban.
We don't want to mess with that. But with that being said, that does open the dojo. There's the Bro available, the Lapras as well. No doubt that Fripp is going to grab that up. And we always talk about, going back to your comfort, going back to your defaults when your backs are against the wall. Are we gonna see a Lucario?
Or, you know what, Anon, I mean, he's picked the Urshifu. He does do wonders with it. We will see if there's going to be another all-rounder. I feel that we might not, but I could be wrong. We do see that, iClan does ban Hooper again. Don is just too lethal with Hooper, so very smart ban from iClan, and they picked up 2 of the strongest defenders that we've seen thus far throughout this match. And for some reason, we see Ninetales acquired as well by iClan, so it doesn't look like Zenith really prioritized Ninetales, where we've seen in the previous matches and selections from not just our own casting, but Kel and Fu as well, that Ninetales was a top priority.
This is what I call the Soluble Kitchen. When his backs are against the walls, this is what happens. This guy, he has a few Pokemon that he really, really feels are good at any sort of meta, and he will go back to them. We saw him succeed on this Beam Venusaur, right? And he's going to run it back. Now, with a bit of an unorthodox lineup compared to what we're seeing in the meta, definitely snatching away that path from, now you see, now I'm getting confused. Snatching away the Eldegoss from Puffs is a good move, but the Blissey can do mad work, especially paired up with the triple trample from Joe. So very scary situation here. Zenith, this is some magic sauce. If they have it, I don't know what this is, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, look, I think this is just comfort picks, when you're not sure what to do, pick the most comfortable pick you can, and they can make it work. Now, I don't blame you for mixing up Eldegoss and Caripas. They're essentially the same person, Pokemon, whatever you want to call it. But we have seen Puffs pick up that Blissey and do an enormous amount of healing for his teammates. So looking at this team, everything in terms of damage here will fall down. I'd like to say fall down to the Ninetales, but after seeing an 100k Dodrio, I can believe that Dodrio can do it again, especially if there's not a lot of lockdown potential to stop that Dodrio from running around freely.
Yeah, I'll be honest here, for Shaker as well as Lulu and Dawn specifically, I think even Anon as well as Jurek, they're definitely in line to be the top contenders. I think even last year, these were names who were vying for the top seat, and to have that wrangled away from them last year by iClan must have been a heartbreaker as they watched on from home, and it could just happen again. All of these players coming from different sort of pockets and segments, some from Ground Zero, some from other teams, just coming back and perhaps facing the same fate would be an absolute heartbreak. This game 2 is going to tell that story, whether we get a game 3, whether we get any sort of pushback from the side of Zenith.
Yes, and might I remind everyone again, this is just the losers semi-finals. It's not even the grand finals, which means that there are teams out there that are stronger, or potentially stronger than these guys. But for now, we are going to keep our eyes set on this sink or swim situation for Zenith. They really need to showcase what they can do with what I believe will be their combo picks. And we can see that already. Hyper Voice doing a lot of damage against Team iClan.
Yeah, Sulu getting that early level and rotating up to the top side. We commonly see this ever since evolutions were introduced, with that early level 4 power spike, allowing them to be fighting fit early on. Then you give a bit of a weaker early stage Pokemon like the Kapu that room to grow and breathe.
Yes.
Now Joe,
Yes.
back on that Dojo, isn't going to give anyone any room to breathe with how he's been playing so far. And it's all going to be on him, right, to get that early advantage and run away with it yet again.
Yeah, and we can see the Wicked Blow there on the Urshifu. Anon, haven't really seen him do a lot of Wicked Blow. He prefers, you know, we're more used to seeing Anon as a fluid movement with the Surging Strikes, but this is doing wonders right now. That Hyper Voice actually ticking by wonders, giving that Urshifu a chance, and this is what Zenith needs to do, Perma. They are really doing well, just so slowly pushing them back and getting those much-needed Aeos energy scores in to just get that slight lead.
Yeah, absolutely here. And, you know, the key thing here is Zenith, if the Urshifu can answer wherever the dojo chooses to go. Doesn't have quite as much speed, but maybe a bit of foresight can actually punish this bird. The amount of damage coming out from the Wicked Blow is gonna do him in. And take a look at that. The drill pack forward, Anon still can charge out the Wicked Blow, forced to eject Butter away though. The jump kick immediately after. But Sing, good night, Dodrio. No chance there, like we said. And this was the plan all along. Zenith, you can't get into the fight without running into the Wiggly. And if she gets you slapped up, it's gonna be curtains.
Yeah, I mean, look, Wiggly, a fantastic choice against Dodrio, because if Dodrio gets cute charmed and then the Sing aftermath, there's no way that Dodrio can get out on time. So that's most likely what happened there. And well done for Team Zenith. They are holding their lead this time. This is looking more and more in favor, may I say, in terms of Team Zenith. But it's still too early to tell, as we are going to go to the next stage just before the Regipops, the Swablues and Ulterior.
Yeah, the one thing about iClan is they're playing a team of absolutely crashing waves, right? Between the Lapras Unite, the Surf, as well as the Alola Ninetales being able to push out those Avalanche Blizzard combos in the line. If you get caught up in the wrong alleyway, you're going to be toast. But Zenith, that's where they're going to be relying heavily on this Wiggly and the Eldegoss to break them out of that situation. The Fairy Frolic, perhaps to just take a hop, skip, and a jump out of that sticky situation. Right now, it's the bot side of iClan in some trouble. Shep forced to eject Button out of that, and I mean, all props to Jurek on this Wiggly. He's been doing mad work, just singing them in place, being this reliable front line. And I mean, right now, Zenith, it looks like they have a bit of advantage, but that's not if Joe has something to say about it.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. Dodrio going in with the Unite does manage to get rid of the Wiggly. Wiggly goes down. There goes the Hyper Voice trying to push back iClan. But here comes the Fairy Fallen as well, just to follow up. Meanwhile, you can see Urshifu just fighting alongside at the top side there against Lapras. But right now, Reggie Ice is trying to help everyone, do damage to everyone. But we are slowly losing members of Zenith as iClan is still up and standing. And you can see right now they're zoning in. But oh my gosh, what a great beam there as Shaker does gets to secure on the Reg Ice as well with its Unite move. And oh my gosh, Zenith once again is prevailing. It's like the coins have flipped and they are winning that coin flip.
Shaker says to Joe, you're looking for me, punk. Beams him straight down in the face. That Jojo doesn't stand a chance. It was a nice try of a maneuver from iClan to try and get that objective, but they took a bit too long to dispatch the Numu. Now the slow go forced out. Shep forced to turn tail and run, but not a lot of room to work with. The two supporters can only cower in fear against this Hyper Voice as this bottom tier 1 Go Zone is getting dunked. Here comes Joe though, wants to find an opening. The drill pack in, want to get this Venusaur, but Shaker closes away, manages to get behind his teammates, and just like that, triple trample again, trying to find the back line. Joe jumping in, but too deep.
No, this is the counter. This is the counter they were looking for the Dodrio. With that hyper voice perma running up at all times, Dodrio can't get its speed back. And this is actually preventing him from using another drill peck. Not only that, the hyper voice is reducing the special defense of Iclan, and that's just letting Venusaur do so much more damage with his beams.
Yeah, I mean, with the way they need to make a beeline straight for Zenith, it's just lining them up perfectly. If they're dodging the hyper voice, they're getting hit by the beam. I mean, this little concoction from Zenith working out wonders for them in this little ball.
Yeah, it's just such a great response to the last game that they had, Perma, and this is showing mental fortitude. They are wiping away whatever happened in the last game, and they are showing why they deserve to be here, why they are fighting for their lives to stay afloat in this competition.
Yeah, speaking of staying afloat, Even Fist just to kind of survive here in this top side. Anon gonna be able to stay afloat quite literally with that citrus berry.
Goodness.
But okay,
Oh
Unite
my
move coming
God.
through. Shaker, he's doing so much work. Bliss assistance. There's the emergency button pop with Priv and Puff, sorry. He's just gonna get taken down. Anon getting some revenge. Chasing forward onto Joe. The Beaks, they're gonna stop this dunk, and is here to put an icy freeze to them as well. There's the Cotton Cloud Crash, keeping them in place. Triple trample onto this Venusaur. Nice catch. Finally taking down Shaker. That big bad Venusaur going down to the beach. And just like that, Joe, he might be unshackled here to just take control of this fight.
Yeah, absolutely insane play by the Dodrio there. It is now looking like more, you know what, maybe this is the reason why Joe couldn't do as well. If Sylveon and Venusaur are combined together, Joe cannot do the things he's doing. But if they are separate, you are witnessing things right now as you are. Joe managing to get rid of that Sylveon is trying to run away, trying to avoid any sort of solar beam by the Venu. Shaker really trying to line the sights up there, but has decided not to go for it. And geez, this is a heck of a fight. You know what? And we are just watching how quick this speedster can move around the map because we are trying to keep up with every single objective that they're doing.
You just know Shaker has his camera centered on that dojo. You know, the way he was peering over that wall. Now, Anon.
Yes.
I mean, Anon's been in this situation before, doing a Regieleki alone. I don't know whether this is going to bring a bit of PTSD. Don't want some bad flashbacks as three members now converge, not allowing that Urshifu free reign. He's going to need backup again, but the emphasis from Zenith is in this bot half. They don't really care about this situation. Jurak with the pollen puff, not enough to keep him up. And now, Iclan, they might be able to contest this with the surf. No, Suluwu snags that one. So at least one objective their way. But Iclan immediately with the Regieleki.
Yeah, this is pretty scary to see. And you know what? With less than, broaching the Ray Quasar mark, we see once again Dodrio at level 14. Now, in all honesty, the levels are relatively even. It's just the Dodrio perma that's a little bit more. But, geez, what a little push there by the Regieleki. Iclan doing very, very good work here. Just pushing hard on the bottom, sending all but one unit down there. Now, Recital used up really early by Jurak. Not sure if that's the right move as Rayquaza is about to go down. But they do manage to save. Another Unite move on the Eldegoss. This is the endgame fight perma. They are using everything they can to stay afloat.
Yeah, Suluwu narrowly gets out there. No idea how he survives that situation. But just like that, like you said, it's the final stretch and they need to be careful because everything is on the line. Zenith, they're 70 or rather 60 points behind and they need this Rayquaza. But no, not like this. Not this way to start. Suluwu, this gets caught out. Now Jurak, thanks for the chopping block, pulling them to sleep. Can this Even Fist do the work? The Venusaur Unite coming over the edge. The Solar Beam as well. It's doing damage, but it's not enough for now. As Frick fearlessly runs forward with the surf ahead. He's not afraid of anything. He's gonna send them packing. They're just holding this position, Iclan. They don't need to move a muscle.
No, look, this is gonna be really close. As you said, 61 points stands between them, and the fact that both teams were able to get out, they are going to reset for a second round of fighting. Now, this may actually be in favor of Team Zenith because they did use the Unite early, but no, Sulu gets hit by the Egg Bomb there. Ninetales following up on the Wigglytuff, and so does Urshifu go down. This is looking terrible for Zenith right now. There's not a lot of things that they can do. You can see Don moving for dear life, Dodrio trying to chase after him. There goes the Solar Beam protection from Shaker, who's actually been the MVP of this match so far, but Dodrio sees that and takes down the Venu. This is over, ladies and gentlemen.
45 seconds, 3 members down. I'm not sure how much time can be done left for Zenith to be able to score and do Rayquaza alone.
Zenith, what were they doing out there? Just the Salua Sylveon gets caught out all alone. Now Bubble Beam onto Dawn as well. All Icon need to do is play bodyguard. He sees Salua in the top side trying to get a dunk, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Anon, he tried to redeem himself this game with that Urshifu, but just couldn't find the angle. They didn't give him a chance. And now Joe gets a nice nifty dunk off Shaker, puts a stop for the rest of it, but there's not much time left. They can't close the distance. They're desperately trying to work on Ray, but there's no more avenues. There's no more hope. And just like last year, Zenith, from their various different angles, from all their different teams, they still come back to the same fate. iClan are gonna move forward and they smash Zenith out of here.
What an absolute stellar performance by iClan there, and not to take anything away from Zenith, they came out guns blazing. They did so well for the first half of the match, even to this, the 2/3 of the match, but things just started to slowly crumble as soon as we saw that Sylveon and Venusaur were kind of separating. Now, not due to their own fault, they were just trying to do objectives, just trying to get experience to keep up, and they did keep up. But even then, it was so close to the point at the Rayquaza fight where neither team dropped any of their, champion Pokemon. They went back, re-healed themselves, got back into the fight, but unfortunately, as soon as that Sylveon got picked off, I think that was just the beginning of the end for Zenith.
My heart honestly goes out to Shaker. I feel like this guy, he was piloting a tough Pokemon to use in this current day and age, especially with the opponents he was going up against. He was making it work. He was really taking it the distance. Shaker on this Venusaur, take a look at the damage he dealt. But
he did so much.
Wow, it just wasn't enough.
God.
The final moments, once again, we talk about the weakness of some of these players on Zenith. In the crucial moments when they need to kind of keep their composure, I don't know whether it's desperation, don't know whether it's panic, whether it's just a bit of indecision that always gets them into these tricky moments where suddenly they've lost members ahead of time. They're committing Unite moves when the final stretch hasn't even kicked off, and without that composure, you can't take down the Titans. iClan, I mean, it's just unfortunate because anyone who missed this game, you're not going to be able to see the pure fight that Zenith was able to put up. You're just going to see a 2-0, but that doesn't tell the full story. Zenith, they were cooking all the way, but they just ran out of gas.
Yeah, it could be mental fatigue. Like you said, they've had such a long thing, but you know what? We're going to look at the highlights to see what went down because it was so much closer than people may have thought, everything happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this game was really, we were starting to see what the plan was, right? With the ball, they were just grouped up. And I think huge props to Jurak on that Wiggly. I think he was doing exactly what that Pokemon was picked for, consistently just singling out and tracing Joe, keeping him asleep and allowing the rest of his teammates to line up and knock him down. But I mean, it just kind of feels like the rest of the team, they couldn't really find any sort of good ground to take a team fight on. As soon as Shaker shows himself, you see immediately Joe, razor sharp, gets him straight into the clutches of Shep. And these fights just seem so difficult to take for Zenith.
Yeah, and it may be a factor that they didn't have a defender on their team. Maybe. We're not 100% sure, but you could see how much work that Venusaur was doing alongside that Sylveon there, and Anon trying to just be defending whenever he can. But at the end of the day, they were just overpowered, overwhelmed by the team synergy of iClan. Like, they did manage to get some objectives here and there, but when it came to the most important engage right here, they just didn't pan out. Like this part here, this was round 1 of the fight. They managed to get a few scores in. Look at Anon actually escaping. So does Jurak as well. And they've gone to reset the board here in time for Sylveon to come back online. But as soon as Sylveon came back online, this was the moment. That egg bomb getting popping up the air with that ray. That was the end of it. This is where it all crumbled.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, Puff being on that Eldegoss, but on the Blissey, just as terrifying, a perfectly planted egg bomb, and it hatches into a 2-0 win for iClan. Now, we've been very, what it sounds like is that we've been so critical of Zenith, right? We're like saying, they faltered. But the thing is, you gotta remember, like, we're saying all this because there are high expectations on them. With that being said, they are playing against the iClan. The
Yes.
iClan, they are top 2 on the
Yes.
leaderboards, been to London. These guys have just had absolute dominance throughout. So real big props to Sulubu and the gang. Zenith, all of them,
Yep.
they are all amazing players in their own right. It just wasn't enough this time round to take them the distance.
Look, Perma, I know you have so much, you just said it correct, but you know what? I want to hear it back with, we're going to bring back Kilo and Fu because they've been watching in the sidelines. They've probably been on the edge of their seats as well. Let's bring them all together and see, you know what, guys? How has this match been for you guys?
Look, I know that it's winter here in the OC region, but I don't think it was the chill that gave me those goosebumps because I think these matches were absolutely extraordinary. And Perma, I think you nailed it on the head there. Like, big props to Zenith. They actually did make it very far today in today's bracket. So they did not give up. They delivered. But obviously, we did follow a lot of Iceland's storyline. They had so much on the line for them today. And it's clear they're not giving up. They are showing us so much perseverance, determination. But I reckon, you know what? Let's have a look at the bracket, Fu.
Absolutely.
To explain what happened today.
I know, what a day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the updated bracket for the UNITE Championship here. So, I know we only watched some of the matches. I do want to shout out the other matches. For example, EXO having that consistency. Look at that, taking down DJ in overtime, taking down Zenith, and buying them a ticket to the winners finals here. Meanwhile, in the losers bracket, we also have Hard Hackers taking down Team Peg, but going down to Zenith at the end. I mean, this is day 1. I can't wait for day 2.
No, I can't wait for day 2 indeed. And it's something that I do say time and time again, Fu. While the OCE region may be small, I reckon they are such powerhouses with the matches they have shown us today. But I have to know, what are your thoughts? What were the highlights for you today, Nuggy?
Oh my gosh, you know what? When we get to cast something like this, there are just so many. And, just seeing a 4 KO Dodrio, just getting that through and doing over 100,000 damage was probably the highlight. But in a kind of like a bloopers scene, I think to see a Non who is such an incredible player fall to a Reggie Alecki, probably distracted by the craziness that was happening on the other side of the map, was shocking. Like, my mouth dropped. So I just couldn't believe it.
That is a screenshot we
need
need of just Nugget.
Yes, yeah, like
open.
it was like, oh my god, like crazy.
I mean, another crazy moment is definitely LDR coming back in that game too against Iceland as well. It seemed like it was all Iceland's game the entire way through, but that Rayquaza fight, Delphox, Xavi on the Delphox, oh my god, that was just incredible.
Now, you want to talk about Xavi? I want to talk about DC. That man, you talk about the Decidueye. Why Nagi called it too is literally the will of the D, right? They connected that way. They know. That's how you know that man's gonna make an impact. Snipes after snipes. That man had a firing range open. He just had everything at his disposal, and the team set up so perfectly for him. That was my favorite moment from today for sure.
No, there were definitely lots and lots of highlights for today, but that does mean it is the end of today. So I do want to say a big thank you, of course, to all of you who did tune in for the first half of the OC Regional Finals. It isn't over, as we will be back again tomorrow to find out who will take home not only that $20,000 top prize, but also who will be landing their invitations to Worlds in Japan. So while it is the end of the action for today in OC, we will be back with some more UCS action with the EU region. So that will be much later. But I do want to say a big thank you to my fellow casters here. It's Mifu, Nuggy D, and Permasneeze. But we are going to sign on out. I'm Kellosaurus. Thank you once again for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow.